So we are still looking with this Requiem build. It's just started off with a Drag Lance.
Okay, here's the play you were asking for. The smoke to top.
Will it be good? Will it be good to smoke into an Underlord next to a Tier 2 tower? Is Cloud9 going to rotate back to it? No, because they found something else. They were also making an aggressive move. They ran into the Centaur, and Jabs is going to be able to get off his full swing of spells. He may still be dead, but his team is coming into it. Fisherman really goes and hits the hook shot onto the Omni Knight. A Requiem goes out, but most of the Cloud9 heroes have already popped their BKBs and backed away, and they're trying to get 23 Savage. Big burst of damage, though, brings down no one. They do manage to hit a shackle. Ooh, that finishes them off. A big crit from Watson nails him right as 23 Savage is looking to wave form away, and another rune comes out. The SF, we talked about it, once the BKBs are down, there is seemingly infinite number of disables. A shackle shot that lands. Can anybody stop Watson? No, he just mows down hero after hero after hero.
Watson, God, he just... This might be a little too much here.
Yeah, he doesn't have Whirlwind yet.
Look at the poke. It's Wind Ranger, man. Once you have this Daedalus, you are just disgusting in the fight.
Yeah, the Omni Knight, I think, they mass TP'd into that fight, and he did have his ultimate up, but he just got hook shot so quickly. Shout out to Fishman for recognizing that play. Omni Knight comes in, boom, instantly hook shot, no chance for Guardian Angel. That was huge. Or any purification saves, that would have made a world of difference.
See, 22 Savage, he pops Windrun here. I feel like this crit just went, I don't even know, like, it just timed out or what. And the Warp Flares, I mean, they're going to start to add up if this Tinker's still alive towards the end of the fight, too. Yeah. Cannot sleep on it.
Lornoff not doing the best positioning there, really set himself up for the shackle
yeah,
at the end.
That didn't help him, but...
Got off the repel, Ollie. He has got to be really quick on the fingers, as you could see from what happened in that last team fight. There were multiple jumps by no one to try and get this Omni Knight. He is going to be hunted down constantly. And he's done, honestly, a pretty good job of reacting, especially to no one's aggression.
Not an easy game for this Omni Knight. He has very little time in the fights to make very important decisions on who his spells go out on and where his positioning is. Maybe the most important thing for Aurora. Can this Omni Knight stay alive, and does he get his spells off at the right time on the right person? It's a lot to ask for in a game where there's a lot of backline jump and like a Whirlwind Wind Ranger going through and a lot of nonsense. So be the Roche contesting smoke, try and push out on the map, find something, get some vision out.
Yeah, they had some very deep vision from the side of Cloud9. One really deep on the mid lane, and this bottom ward is still up. So Aurora make the right call of smoking from within their own base. And Q, oh, his smoke breaks, but he doesn't get the jump. He blinks after no one, but no one is already, and you blew it. You blew your one opportunity as Aurora to maybe get yourself a free Roshan. I mean, if you get the lasso on this Storm Spirit.
Okay, but here's the question. If this Roche spawns, do you just start doing it with this Vlad's Morphling?
Sure.
With your BKBs, you can position the Omni Knight really far in the back. Like, you make the Tinker go into you. Unfortunately, it is not going to spawn, so this decision is irrelevant as Cloud9 are just going to force the fight. But you have high ground positioning here. If you can protect your Omni Knight, this is the type of setup that could work for Aurora. Yeah, they're going to do it. I think this is the correct decision, but you have to be fast on the clicking. You have to pop your BKBs if the fight comes to you, and you have to think about the hook shot, contesting Roshan.
The gate, right next to the pits. They're about to finish up the Roshan. Can they get there in time? No one. Hook shot goes out, but he grabbed the Aegis. 23 Savage. Now it's an opportunity to win the fight with 2 lives. Lornoff already hitting the big Requiem. Watson's dicing him up, though. This Whirlwind is kicking in. The SF inside of the pit. Heels coming out. Ollie in the corner trying to save Lornoff's life, and he doesn't. He gets the SF out of there. Jabs is still stuck, though, as is the supports. Ollie has been left behind by his cores. 23 Savage is still around. Not sure where he went to, but it looks like he is angling for DM. That's not going to happen. Too many disables, and he's going to lose his first life. And on his second life, is there anything he can do about it? No one's around to be able to help him out. Well, no one himself. The Storm Spirit is going to go for it. Nice shackle shot. Ollie is here on the side, but if he shows himself, he's dead, and it probably wouldn't save 23 Savage anyway.
Not enough gas in the tank to tank the second half of that fight with the Storm Spirit buyback. And Watson still standing strong. No one's contesting this Wind Ranger. huge problem for Aurora, despite the fact they managed to snatch the Aegis out of that hook shot. It's the only thing that really went right for them there. Plus that Requiem, I mean, it did delete the Storm instantly. But you have this Tinker just doing so much work. Hex was completed before that fight, and Katayomi just lives throughout the entire thing. Plus Watson going in here. It's just so much damage adding up. He has another Whirlwind on the second half of this. Surprised Lornoff got out of there. Didn't look too bad at this point, but when your Centaur and Bat are gone from the fight, no one coming in the second time, you don't have any control left. Like, Scorpion just gets permanently rooted, can't hit anything, doesn't have BKB. You're useless.
Yeah, and they also, like, they used the Requiem on top of DM. It did hardly any damage because he's a pipe carrier and super tanky. And then 23 Savage also tried to put damage on the Overlord. Didn't work. Obviously, his damage being cut down quite heavily by the Atrophy Aura. So this combination of just disgusting amount of sustain, barrier after barrier after barrier. Defense matrix on all of these heroes from the side of Cloud9. You've got pipes going around, you've got heals, you've got Greaves, he's got the individual heal of the Holy Locket as well, and he's got a Scythe of Vice. Get the grab on the Wind Ranger, try and blow him up with the Requiem. Is it all gonna be enough? So much commitment, but Watson is fine. He went down to about half HP and has about 2,000 HP and barriers left, and now he pushes forward, pops his Whirlwind, pops his Satanic, heals himself back up to full, and you have blown your initiation as Aurora. You don't really get a second chance now.
On cooldown for a minute here. You know, right before that fight started, I was about to say, you have to find this Tinker. They did not find the Tinker.
No.
And you can't kill anybody if you don't find this guy. This is what makes this hero broken on a certain level. It's find Tinker or bust, and this hero's very difficult to find at this point.
In the trees, defense matrix for everybody, a little bit of Solar Crest action. I mean, Aurora, if you want to take this fight, it feels like you have to be able to smoke wraparound or something. I mean, you said the Bat Rider has got to be hunting his counterpart in the Tinker, and I'm not sure if we've seen that interaction once.
You just have no dispel for all these barriers and everything going out. Like, you don't really have a Hex of your own. So even if you're pulling Watson into Requiem, there's just not a lot of long-term control. And Tinker's just going to keep throwing out these barrier shields. He's going to keep healing you with Greaves, Locket, Matrix. Someone's getting more flared.
I mean, MKB would go a long ways if he could get it. But he's spotted right as he's about to complete it on the hard camp. He just needed a little bit more farm to complete the MKB. Gets caught in the act with 2 lanes of barracks already down. No buyback available. It is inevitable at this point that Cloud9 will get Mega.
You had one team fight left in you, and that might have just been it.
Q, he's gonna go for it. Look at the damage. It's nothing. Not a damn thing they can do to Watson with so much effective HP put on this guy. No 23 Savage, no carry to actually get you there. And that will be a 2-0 for Cloud9. I mean, I feel like they were the favorites coming into this series, and they absolutely showed why.
This team has a near immaculate record at this event so far. They are picking what they know how to play, making it look really strong. They're playing some of the meta heroes, some of the off meta heroes. They're winning lanes. They have some of the highest KDA players. They have won a lot in a row right now. This team has momentum. If you are not watching Cloud9 right now and afraid of facing this team, you do not know what's coming for you.
And Aurora, it feels like they're just not able to keep pace with some of the European teams as a result. They may have taken down the Chinese team in Team 0 to get here in the first place to the upper bracket, but ultimately they will fall to the lower bracket anyway, right away. And we'll see how they're able to perform and if they're able to bounce back from there.
We will be seeing that Aurora, there's a big question mark around how they're going to be able to come back when we do see them in 2 days' time. So they won't be playing it tomorrow, but they will be having that lower bracket run for themselves begin in 2 days' time. As for Cloud9, getting the 2-0 here, they're going on to the upper bracket. In fact, they're going all the way to the main event. They're going to be playing in Royal Arena in 4 days' time. So it starts all the way on a Friday. So is that 4 days? I believe so. 5 days?
I think it's
I couldn't tell you what day today is.
3.5.
Yeah.
Sunday today.
Sunday today. You can do the maths at home, and while you're doing the maths, we're going to break this game down a little bit more, because Cloud9, it was a very different pace of game for them in the way that they wanted to play. They just kind of passively farmed up. There wasn't a lot of action. They did end up with a great KDA, great scoreline for themselves, but Winter, it wasn't exactly what we saw in game 1, but it still gave them a phenomenal win.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora just basically came here, parked their buses in front of the goal, just waited and farmed, didn't do anything. I felt like, I mean, sure, you know, it's their draft, you know, they drafted the SF and Morphling, you know, it's not much you can do in the early game. Centaur is kind of your barricade, you put him in front of the goal, you stop the opponent from coming to your towers with his Blade, Mail, Pipe, Crimson. Unfortunately for them, I felt like the only few situations where they could have maybe done something more is when Cloud9, they were trying to attack their side of the Aurora side of the map. They were trying to get kills on the Morphling and SF. They got like 2 crucial kills in the early game. I felt like the Omni should probably be around to break the smoke or to at least, you know, save Repel, save your teammate. And instead he was like off on the map. He was trying to put some deep wards and doing some other things, you know. Which I felt like, yeah, it's a tough game for a support when your draft is like that, but you gotta really realize what you have to do in that game, and you have to make it happen. I think if he would have done that, he would have prevented the early game kills. I think maybe Aurora would have a chance when they are moving into the mid game.
Yeah, and in both games, they were just always that little bit behind, a little bit lower in net worth there, and they always had to try and make something for themselves. Sometimes you panic, feel that pressure for yourself, Jenkins, and it showed a lot more in this game number 2 towards the end there. They went for that Roche, they picked up the Aegis, but nothing was able to actually come from it. In fact, 23 found himself in some really rough positions and ultimately not there to be able to help his team defend that high ground.
Yeah, I mean, that play, I feel like is, I mean, we've seen a few teams do it. Liquid also did that in their series. I can't remember who they were playing against. They ended up losing the game, but they almost came back from the Roche sneak, of course. The VP team, naturally, yeah. So teams do this, and it is something that shows composure in that moment. I think for the rest of the game, there's a little bit of a lack of composure from Aurora, but the team that is composed was C9, because their response to it was like, okay, they snuck Aegis, sure, but we know that we have such a lead and such an advantage right now that even with the Aegis, like, we can kill this Morphling twice. Like, they're going to use so many resources to get out here on the map. They're going to be positioned in a way where, like, 23 Savage is isolated, that we can kill him despite the Aegis. And that, like I said, that's just something that requires you to be very composed to make that call.
Something else that was really great across both games was Watson's performance. Carry here for Cloud9. He was on the Luna in game number 1, and now the Wind Ranger here for himself. In fact, that Luna went completely untouched in game number 2, and he was like, oh, I want to show that I can also win on a different sort of carry.
Yeah, this is a very popular hero still, and a lot of the big counters that we do see, like the Centaur, didn't really work out in this particular game, but it also felt like it was a classic game to play Wind Ranger. But what he was playing against wasn't necessarily a threat to him either. So he was able to get everything he wanted in this game. His lane state was good. Transition that into a good mid game. He had the Gleipnir, which helps his team get kills. And I kind of look over on the other side here for Aurora, and it's like, yeah, your mid lane's an SF. He doesn't really provide much control either. You don't have your typical Gleipnir type of hero on your carry. You have a Morphling. You have an Omni, and then so at some point, Watson, there's no control for him. He just runs in with all his spells, and sure, Crimson is good against the hero, but when you're that far ahead, it's not going to be enough. And I think Kataomi was also very important in this game. They have a really good formula right now. It's like Fishman, you're going to be on Bane, you're going to be on Clock. These heroes don't need farm, right? Not at all. So Kataomi's going to play these Winter Wyverns, these Tinkers, stack for himself, get really, really farmed. He had higher net worth than the Centaur offlane, so it's working for them. Yeah,
well, you listed a lot of their players. The one player you didn't really talk about a list was DM, and luckily for us, we're going to get to hear from him himself as Nomad is joined by him.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed, I'm here with DM, who has just made it to the main stage of the International. It's going to be your first International appearance in front of a crowd on the big stage. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. Obviously, like, people after this tournament, everything's going cool, and maybe with viewers it's going to be even better.
Hope so, hope so. I mean, it's been a fantastic vibe, it feels like, from all of you guys. You know, every time we're talking to the Cloud9 guys, everyone seems pretty happy. You know, is that what it's like in the practice rooms and everything?
Yeah, everything is amazing. Practice rooms are big and very, like, comfortable for everyone. Yeah, so tournament is nice. It's much better than it was in Seattle, to be honest. So I respect it.
Enjoy the tournament, absolutely. So, in terms of your team, who do you think is the standout performer? Who's the key to the success so far in Cloud9?
I think our mid laner is doing a huge diff in every single game, which you see. So yeah, I can name him, but I think everyone's playing very well. Like, let's say Watson is a bit of skitter mentality right now, player. Like, he's using Arcane Boots and Gleipnir very well, so it leads us to having early advantage into game win. So I can admit every single guy from the team.
Yeah, of course, it's always a team effort, but so would you say your character is kind of like taking a step back and enabling no one to kind of really pop off in these games and take the limelight a bit?
Could you repeat it? You said too fast, my bad.
That's all right, that's on me. Would you say that your carry player is kind of taking a step back a little bit and allowing no one to kind of take over and be the big playmaker of the team?
In some games, yes. Obviously, like, let's say he played Luna today, he was like pure carry, like super standard. But the game after he played Windranger and he was doing an amazing Arcane Boots into Gleipnir combination, which led us to having resources and he's able to kill heroes.
Yeah, absolutely, it looks fantastic. And of course, now you're on a 4-day break. What are your plans?
I want to have some look on the city. I think it's quite beautiful. Also, I'll combo my Dota games with Deadlock, which is also amazing. Like, I really like this game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having some more matches on Hazer, amazing hero.
All right, multi-game drifting a little bit here, but yeah, that's DM. Very excited to play on the main stage, and we're very excited to watch it. Back to you now.
Thank you, and of course, I'm super glad that Cloud9, they're making it to the main event, DM. We'll get to see him up there in 4 days' time. Something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, right? Because we talked about it the first series with Liquid up against Extreme Gaming, is how Nisha didn't die a single time. He went 12-0 and then 2-0. Watson did the same thing. He went 12-0 in his first game, but then he went 9-0 again. So right now, there is a bit of a consistent theme in these matchups, how there is that one standout player that is going deathless, putting up a phenomenal performance.
Yep. Back to you, Jenkins.
And he was playing like an insane maniac too. Like in the Windrunner game, he has no BKB, no Satanic. He goes in with Whirlwind. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to die, man. But that's the thing. He trusts his team.
If you were on his team, would you flame him?
Would I flame him?
Yeah.
I'd probably, I mean, I just flame everybody in general, so yeah, but he played very well. He played extremely well. I think that there's a level of trust that is required to do such behavior. And that's the thing, is we talk about these 10-0 players, these deathless players, but they have the supporting cast of their team that they know that they're going to save them. There's the auras that are being bought. There's the positioning required in order to be in range to use those auras and the force staffs and things like that. Lots of kiting going on in this patch, Natty.
Thank you, Jenkins. Back to you, Winter.
I don't like pushing the narrative of 0 deaths, man. Like, it's like you're telling people, oh, you shouldn't die in your game.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
that's a support player mentality.
Okay, I want to say I'm not pushing you shouldn't die. I'm saying it's impressive that they're playing the way they are and they're not dying. It's one of those causation correlation things.
Typically, this happens when the game is just a bit too easy. Like, let's be honest. Like, you have a good laning stage. Like, your draft is good, the enemy's draft has a little bit left to be desired, and then you're just like rolling, and then all of a sudden you're not dying because you're snowballing the game so well. And as a lot of these carry heroes, like, you do not die, and then they continue to not die just because, like, you have your item timing. You keep hitting every timing that you need to hit, and then it just leads to a perfect game.
Yeah. Well, look, teams are steamrolling in their games. We're steamrolling through this schedule. It is a rolling schedule. We have our next best of 3 coming up. We're going to have a bit of a panel swap over, but while we're doing that, we're going to leave you guys with some fun content between Nomad and Crit.
Hello, I am joined by Crit from Team Falcons. Crit, first of all, how are you doing?
Doing good. It's nice to be home for a tournament.
Nice to be home. Yeah.
It's rare.
Are you from Copenhagen?
Yeah.
So this is literally just an easy commute for you.
Very close, yeah.
How many TIs is this for you?
8.
8.
Yeah.
Do you still get excited ahead of TI?
I think just it being in Copenhagen just matters a lot more to me. I remember when I saw the news that it was going to be in Copenhagen. I think it's the most. It's like the happiest I've been Dota related in my entire career.
Really?
Just the news of it. Yeah, it's massive. Just because all my friends that know that what I do, like they don't really follow Dota, but like they're interested in how I'm doing, and now they actually get a chance to come and watch.
So all of those school friends and family friends, they can come and watch the tournament and be like, oh, that's what he does.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think my friends they're just not really interested in Dota as a game, but I'm happy that they get to go to an event and just experience like the crowd and like how it is as an experience. Because like I understand like watching video games online, like it's not for everyone, and like not everyone kind of gets pulled into it.
Of course.
So for them just to be, because they're all like very normal people, you know, generic people that like to go to football games and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you can go to the event, you'll have like a beer, it'll be a good time, you know, yeah, and then I'm just happy that they can experience that.
Let me actually read you the results from this year, okay? You had first in Bethune Daka, first in Dream League 22, second in Elite League, first in ESL Birmingham, third in PGL Wallachia, first in Dream League 23, third Riyadh Masters, first in Fisher Universe. In hindsight, do you regret leaving Shopify Rebellion?
No, I mean, I don't regret my time in NA, and I don't regret leaving. I think it was a good time for us to split up, and I think, yeah, it was for the best for everyone.
So obviously, Snake King is like the team captain now. Has that liberated you as a 4 to play more traditionally the way a 4 does, where you're kind of causing chaos and roaming around and all that kind of stuff, and not so much of the captain-y supporty stuff? Or has the role changed in much the same way that position 5 has changed?
I think in terms of like the role itself on Shopify and EG, and then now, like it's not much different. Like I kind of have the same role where I'm not like one of the main, but I think just this team coming in was like kind of relearning a little bit for me, because I think on just being on the same team for so long, you kind of get stuck in a way of playing. We're all like a new team, but Skeeter and Snake played together before, and then Marine and Amar knew each other, and Skeeter and Snake also knew Marine, so I was kind of like the odd one out, and I kind of had to fit in, and I also had like more of a, I guess like a set view on how Dota is, because I was with the same people for so long. But I think for me, that was the biggest change in terms of my role.
Okay, and I suppose if you could just sum up how this season has felt for you in general. Were there any lows, or has it just pretty much been riding a wave of highs the whole time? Because that's how it's looked.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always lows when you compete. I think, like, thinking back on it now, it's been a very good year. Like, there's always like some lows, and you lose the tournament. Like when we got third in Bucharest, I think was a little bit low, just because we were good enough to make it to the grand finals, and then we lost. But at the end of the day, we were playing with a stand-in, and then it's not like I look back and like, oh, that was miserable, you know. It's more like in the moment, like you feel a little bit bad about it, and then you move on. So I think, I mean, this year has just been very good for us. It's been very enjoyable, and I think it's hard to not have a good time when you're winning in Dota. It's kind of just eliminates that. I think that's the biggest thing about winning. When I talk to like Quinn as well, we kind of agree, just like the winning is only nice because you avoid losing. Because like as soon as you win, like it feels okay, you know, but it's not like you're on a like euphoric state for like weeks. It just, that evening feels good, and then the next morning you're on a flight and it feels bad, you know, because you're leaving the tournament, and like it's just the stopping of playing is just not that good. But just not having to lose feels good.
Not losing feels good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I wish you all the best, Crit. Hello, I am here with Whitemon from Tundra. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Now, I know that you've played in 3 different regions. You've played in C, NA, and now EU. A lot of people say that the differences between the regions are not as big as they used to be. First of all, do you agree with that? And secondly, what are the differences, in your opinion, between those regions?
In SEA, it's like they're playing kind of slow, so everyone just want to farming. They farming to buy items to play for the late game, mid game, something like that, to play for the team fight. So they don't really like know how to close the map or like play to snowball the game, like close the game early. So they just play for the team fight and late game. That's what I know.
Okay.
And then in NA, they playing like more objective. So it's like there's a pattern. So you need to take like tier 1 enemy safe lane, and then you need to take mid safe lane. You need to take mid tower, and then it's like objective, every objective, something like that. But if you like mess up, and then the plan is kinda like you don't know what to do anymore after that, something like that.
So everything goes to pieces.
Yeah.
And what about EU Dota?
EU is like we learn about how to cross the map, how do you want to play the map. It's like how do you want to catch them, or do we need to catch them? Do we just take objective, or do we farm our timing, something like that? So it's like more details.
More detailed.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on Ringmaster? I know obviously you're not gonna be able to play, but what are your thoughts on Ringmaster?
I mean, this hero is like this hero win rate is like so high because new hero, like everyone doesn't know how to play against it, and I think it's really good on supports because his spells is like, I don't know, have slow, have fear, and then second spell you save your teammate, and then untargetable, and the ulti is like AoE, stun, and damage. I think this hero still need to be nerfed.
You think it's too much?
Yeah.
It's got too much, right? Okay. Now, I see that you have played quite a lot of Clockwork recently, especially since they changed the hero, I guess. And with the new facet he's got, you can like shoot the cogs at people. I also know that you play a lot of billiards. Do you think that the fact that you've played a lot of billiards means that you're better at shooting the cogs at people? Do you think there's any overlap there?
No, not really.
Come on, you're shooting a little ball at somebody. It's kind of like billiards, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same because in billiards the ball is like stop, right? But heroes is like moving, keep moving, so you need to like predict where they're moving.
Okay, well if you say so. So you hit 13k MMR last month. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Do you think that it's harder to get high MMR as a support player? Because a lot of people have this idea that if you're like a mid or a carry player, you can just carry the team yourself. But you did it as a support player. Do you think it was harder?
I think it's not that quite hard if you like playing like good lane, something like that. Like how to like control them, because sometimes when you play PUBG, it's like they don't know what to do, right? They just want to like farm, they want to do their own things. So as a support, you kind of like need to command them, like need to control them, like can you guys come, can you smoke, something like that.
So you're sort of captaining in the pub games almost?
Yeah, sometimes like that, but sometimes I can just play like quiet if they like talk too much. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, look, I want to wish you all the best in the tournament, White Bond, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Wonderful to hear from both Crit and Whitemon before they face each other on the Dota 2 battlefield, because that is where we're at. We're at the halfway point and we're getting ready for more upper bracket matches here at the Road to the International. And we switched our panel around. I'm Shiva, I'll take you through the rest of the day together with my panel. I am joined by T-Gov, Effie and Lacoste. Lacoste, we're diving into Falcons versus Tundra, best of 3. I want to say this comes as a matchup that I wasn't really expecting, and if you would have asked me a couple of days ago, I would have said Falcons are going to take it easy, and now feel like it's fairly even.
I would say so. I mean, Team Falcons, if you want to win a tournament throughout 2024, you needed to be able to study them. This is the most studied team of 2024 for a good reason, and we can look at how many times they played so far in this year. And pretty much every single time except one, Falcons were victorious. So on paper, it doesn't look good for Tundra, but Tundra also, I would say, kind of powered up. Even though they are playing with Saksa, the team is still functioning like he's not a stand-in. I think in terms of stand-in, if you needed to get a stand-in, this is probably the best option that was available.
Yeah, I mean, Saksa's no stranger to Tundra either. Won a TI with them, but I do think that Lacoste is right, that the Tundra of the previous year was just every loss and every tournament they played was just a stepping stone to what they've become now, because it feels like they're very confident in their identity and their play style, and they know how to enable certain players on their team way better than they did earlier in the year.
I feel like they're going to be the team that if they do win this series, like they're going to be like the most improved team from like day one to now, because like they've had to kind of go back to the drawing board, learn like what the Saksa want to do, because like 9 class he was like so instrumental in a lot of their games, so it's like it is a kind of a kick to the gut, but or punch to the gut, whatever the phrase is. So it's like I feel like if they do overcome this one, then they are going to become like another potential favourite for a deep run.
Yeah, we know that both teams, well, first of all, you are a Dota player, you love learning about the game, because you always keep learning no matter what level you are playing at. And we know that both these teams, and maybe in particular at the moment, Team Falcons, is a team that is learning fairly heavily. I believe, Tigov, you did a little bit of a deep dive in what they're studying.
Yes, I had a little look at the old pubs and see what they're doing, because I think nowadays at least pro players have shown such form compared to like old school, where it's like during TI it used to just be scrims and like maybe a couple pub games, but now it's like you always hit the pubs, you're always developing, and like during TI we're already now seeing like Ricky has been across the board, you know, Maureen, Skidder and Crit have all attempted it in their roles. Snaking, after seeing Team Zero play Bristleback 5, he's played it in his own pubs. We're seeing, you know, ATF playing offlane Troll. You might go, why are you playing offlane Troll during TI? Like, you're trying to win it. Well, Omni Knight, one of the best heroes in the game right now, and Troll Aghanim completely removes the Repel and the Guardian Angel. It's a hard counter. So if you can get that into your lineup, it's going to work out. So I think Falcons are showing that during, you know, the biggest tournament of the year, they're seeing things that are working in the meta, testing it out in their pubs, and they keep evolving. And for a team that people often say, oh, you only play 4 heroes each, it's like they are constantly developing, constantly testing, and at some point in a series, maybe now, maybe down the line, we are going to see these experiments kind of hit the game running.
We heard just now, good reason for almost every hero. Effie, what could you think is the reason for Ogre being tried out by Snaking? Do you feel like Ogre is a hero that will leave? Because that's a hero that Snaking's been practicing.
Potentially, because Ogre fits the archetype of what we've been seeing out of Fives this patch, which is a strong melee body that you park in front of your ranged carries, because we are in a meta where ranged carries are reigning supreme, right? The Wind Rangers, the Lunas, the Drow Rangers, we've basically been seeing it all, the Mirana, and they've been just pairing this with the Marsus and the Clocks and the Tusks and what have you. But if those are taken out, and Luna's back in the meta, Ogre is a hero that really does enable that hero well.
Okay, we'll see if it comes out in the upcoming series. We should be moments away from getting the draft. Best of 3 will secure top 6. I wanna focus a little bit on Falcons in the sense that they came in as one of the favorites, but they've definitely bled games here and there, Lacoste. What is it you feel that they had at the start of the year that they don't have anymore?
A little bit of a surprise factor, that's for sure. I mean, we've seen at Riyadh Masters, they did start the tournament with 0-4, and people started to already say, you know, Falcons, they're not going to go far. They still did, but this team always has some like new ideas, new things that they are going to implement into the game. The big surprise for me is this Mars that they didn't play yet. On the other side, Tundra, they did play the Mars 4 times. This has been their bread and butter when we talk about ATF, and we've seen so many good combinations with the Mars where you keep them in place, so many good performances from the offlaners, and you have these range carry heroes that dish around serious amount of damage in a couple of seconds, and this is where Mars kind of ties all that together.
And that's why we see first phase banned by Falcons. As we're in it, we got Tundra Radiant, Falcons Dire, first pick going the way of Falcons.
Yeah, also you go asking about like Falcons maybe not being that kind of perfect team in the group, not dropping a single game. Coming into TI, I think they got like the second most played games of any other team in like plus 200. Like in the other top 5 it's like 160 games, 150 games. Like we're thinking like the journey to get here, they've had to play like the most. And obviously being the best, it's like they obviously, people study them. It's super obvious. You find the tournament winners and you copy what they do. That's why they need to keep evolving. And that's why it's draining. Where top teams in Dota aren't able to always hold down the top spot, because to keep that up, it's a 24/7 job.
And that's typically what happens every TI, where the most dominant team in that competitive year doesn't win TI because they're the team that people watch most, copy the stats from most, and more importantly, they're the team that get their heroes nerfed. When you are the team that's winning with your hero pool, it is your heroes that are going to be most effective in the patches to come. And Falcons, I would say almost single-handedly got a lot of their signature heroes very nerfed. You know, their Pangos, their Timbers, their Razors, and their DKs, which funnily enough are back in the meta anyway. So they're chilling.
You got a lot of weak points removed. But the Doom still win. We saw that even though yesterday and the day before the Doom had a 0% win rate with 8 games picked, we saw Liquid this morning showcasing that it's a skill issue and that Doom, rightfully so, still is very strong. First pick material again.
Yeah, hear me out. So Doom yesterday had a very poor showing, but that's because he was constantly jammed into first pick by teams that aren't Doom specialists. But you have players like D3 and Amar who've been playing this Doom forever basically and can first pick it into counters more comfortably than other teams. Like yesterday we saw Doom losing to Medusa carries, we saw Doom losing to Shadow Demons, we saw Doom losing to Centaurs with the Stampede disengage, and like look, Falcons take out the Centaur anyway. Like they respect a lot of the counters because their players have a much stronger understanding of this hero.
I also think Crit's going to play a hero that's going to make Doom feel better in the lane. Like, Crit's been playing Lion, Hoodwink, like, bring a 4 that can just fight in the lane. So when Doom gets left alone, like, the lane's already set up for him to be independent. Like, the 4 isn't rotating to help the mid when Doom hasn't had the best start, and now it's like Doom's getting sacked. You're trying to help mid. Like, a lot of teams just aren't really bringing Doom into the game. Like, we mentioned it yesterday, like, range carries being strong, Doom likes to play against melee carries, therefore you need to kind of fix that problem with a good positional ball. So I'm hoping that Falcons identify that as well, making sure that Crit can bring a little bit of life to the laning phase.
And what happens at every single group stage pretty much of DI there is more growth in the international right now, because I see the heroes. First couple of days I did see a lot of these position 5 heroes being contested in the first banning phase. Mirana, Lina, Windranger all banned out, and now you can see the difference. Most of these heroes are either carries or the offlaners, and still leaving some of those in the pool. Couple of position 5s here and there, but that definitely shifted, which means that we're gonna shift, because we've seen the Luna being super popular. We've seen like Kunkka, we've seen Sniper day 1, day 2. People are not picking that hero, especially not in the first phase anymore.
And also just the things like Omni Knights, Enchantresses, Wind Rangers, these things that were relatively unignored are being let through the first phase more than we're used to seeing. And it's because a lot of teams have developed their preferences for what feels best for them. Like Mirana has presented herself as an extremely strong hero this TI, and Tundra, who haven't even flexed it once, are going for the first pick even though they've exclusively played it as 4, which means even though they've been running it as 4, the flex is still open to them too.
Teams just find the building blocks for heroes, right? Like what hero, like rather than the hero that's maybe doing the most, like what's the hero that sets up the hero to do the most? So if you take away the building blocks, then you know the meta kind of comes crumbling down a little bit, and that's where it's like these bands, like the power break, shows evolution. Quite nice.
Yeah. Didn't play Mirana as a position 1 yet. Yeah. Pure plays different heroes. I mean, this still fits this kind of a same profile, but Saksa exclusively has played the hero, and he looked very good. There are, like, I would say 2-3 different itemizations that you can go with.
He did forget how to lead in that one game.
Yeah, yeah, he broke the game.
Yeah.
He goes for triple bracer, and then he starts to scale, gets the 15-minute shard pretty much, saves the gold, and then he transitions into another core. He picks up Hurricane Pike with the Solar Flare. That's going to give you enough attack speed and damage, and also having that extra leap, and then he starts to scale even more, Crystallis, Daedalus, whatever is necessary. So I think this one is most likely just going to be a position. Yeah, especially now with Wind Ranger.
I also want to point out that Ramses has all his heroes that he won with so far his entire week. They're all banned out. The only ones that he has left that he actually played but lost with are Alchemist and Slardar. Seems to be a heavy focus on removing his heroes from the pool.
Yeah, like I said about the building blocks, right? It's like if you have that solid foundation, it simplifies the draft, and Ramses kind of morphed into that for this team, right? Like with the Mars or the Centaur, the Kunkka, like it's easy to pick without you going, now I need to fix the problem. Like this hero doesn't really create problems in your draft. If anything, it makes it easier. So yeah, now we're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper into the Ramses hero pool, but shouldn't be an issue with what he's
You were talking about building blocks. I thought it was Lego because we're in Denmark.
No, exactly. That was a reference. Yeah.
Okay.
This often happens with teams with limited hero pools on players. Like Ramses has played exceptionally well on the heroes he's shown us, like his Mars, the Sand King, his Kunkka, etc. But for the most part, he's not a very specialized or highly specialized offlaner because he has still moved to this role recently, and it's not like BB Team's Nero, who has played every single offlane hero in history and can play it well. He has a hero pool of 4 that he plays exceptionally well, and then he just looks a lot more underwhelming on his other heroes.
I'm going to go back to Riyadh Masters one more time. Talk about Team Tundra. Ramses, he had like 3 heroes, played pretty much throughout the whole tournament, banked out the 4th hero at the very later stages. It was pretty much Mars, 7 or 8 games at one point. So Team Falcons, they did the research knowing that they need to heavily focus him, and I think Effie has a good point. Try to put him, slightly more under the pressure, playing a hero that he maybe doesn't like to play as much, doesn't have that many games.
What heroes that he's really popped off on in the past are left? I mean, the only one is Darkseer, but that hero has gone through so many nerfs that it only really feels good if it fits into your draft perfectly. And it wouldn't be... Well, I mean, playing Darkseer versus Doom feels awful, actually.
Well, for now, they are still having 50 seconds in their bonus time if they want to still think about that one, if they haven't gotten an answer just yet. For Team Falcons, we got the Bat Rider on the Hoodwink coming out. It means we're seeing Crit on the Hoodwink. That Bat Rider could be Snaking's hero. They have played those two supports in the past.
I like this a lot. I've been theory crafting something like this. How much Damaggio can you get? The answer is yes. The answer is all pretty much. Thundra, you have Sidekick, Alacrity, Wind Ranger, and Solar Flare. This is it. All they need to do is have some kind of a body in front to tie this lineup up. This is something that I wanted to see, didn't see. I've seen like 2-3 heroes, then you throw in some Solar Crest, some drums, but this is insane draft from Thunder. This Wind Ranger is gonna go ham.
But it is 4 protect 1, or rather 4 buff up 1.
Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah, at the moment. But like that's where this is quite creative though with the Invoker pick. You sacrifice your mid lane because Ramses, and if you mentioned like losing his big kind of initiating hero pool, after those heroes, that's when he becomes like a carry from the off lane. Like he's played Slardar, he's played Alchemist, he's played Brood. Like his hero pool after the initiators is kind of the read the map, outscale your opponent. So if they are going to go for potentially kind of plan B or C, then you do need more information, because if they pick that type of hero in this position, Falcons have 2 picks to counter it, and Tundra just get picked apart on the map. So if they are going to maybe go a little bit creative, they need to open up the draft a bit more. So keep an eye out. Potentially Ramses is going to see all heroes and go, what do you want to play? Whatever he calls for, he's going to get. And that's where Falcons, they just need to just keep drafting for themselves here. They got the puck now to punish the the lack of lockdown. It's a lot of aggression here. Like Hoodwink, I wanted to see this type of hero to enable the Doom. That's going to bring good fight. Bat will secure your safe lane, and Puck will be the playmaker, the containment for all the other heroes to thrive.
I love the Puck pick because if you look at Falcon supports in Hoodwink and Batrider, if either of these supports rotates to mid, you don't need both. With the Dream Coiled, Invokers should be killed very quickly and very easily before Tundra's supports can react. And when you look at the matchup of Wind Ranger versus Falcon's team, it can look scary if you don't have a means to just lock her down, and the Dream Coil goes a very long way in the early game to just rotate on Wind Ranger and kill it. And you mentioned the lack of lockdown T. It's a problem. You have a Shackle Shot, which is a projectile, easily dodged. You have the Arrow, which is a follow-up.
Yep.
The Rebound, which you see coming, you easily dodge too. It's a really scary puck game, actually.
It is. I'm looking for a hero for Ramses, and I don't think there are many options available, especially after the puck pickup. They need, like, Centaur would be perfect, where you have, someone to disengage. Wind Ranger can run in, run back. Also great against Doom. Takes away the target from the carry pretty much. So I'm thinking, maybe they need something different. Slardar has already been banned out. This hero hasn't been picked much, maybe not at all. Axe, I feel like they need a Blink Initiator because they need some lockdown for Puck, and the hero pool is getting smaller and smaller.
We got Underlord still in the pool.
Yep.
Tidehunter still in the pool. Axe that you mentioned still in the pool. As far as tanky boys offlaners go, I'm having trouble coming up with more.
Yeah, I think right now, like, Beastmaster might fit the bill for the group behind. He can buy auras. That's one option.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Underlord just for the route, but it's like
10 seconds
the fact that we're talking about the elusiveness of Puck. There aren't a lot of the big stunners available for him to pick up. So it's like you either stun the Puck or you just go forward.
Or, they make it very fun. They go, Beastmaster gets banned out, but they go for Legion Commander, and then you just run around and then you give dual damage to all your team. When you successfully go dual, you run S5, everybody gets all the damage all the time.
It might be too much damage. I think they they don't have problem with the damage, that's for sure, with all the buffs that they can throw onto Wind Ranger. They just need some lockdown, because this Puck could cause a lot of problems.
I wish, hold up. Okay, they go okay. I can't suggest it. I was like, if they don't pick a strong carry that pressures in lane, like, I wish Night Stalker was like slightly more viable, because that would be like the overwhelming oomph. But now with the Monkey King to like crush that safe lane to prevent offlaners from being a little bit more scaling, then it kind of breaks that apart.
Oh, this Monkey King pick? Well, we were talking about the Underlord, for example. Monkey King is one of the best heroes versus him, and if you're looking for the bill of a melee stunner that can either have an instant stun or buy Orchid, Monkey King counters any hero that you can think of that does that. So Tundra are in a kind of a pickle where their last pick from Ramsey is going to be underwhelming regardless of what they come up with.
I mean, you need to lane against Monkey. Most of these offlaners are melee nowadays. The pool is almost non-existent considering all the bans that they did. I mean, Magnus could also work where you have, you know, some kind of a way of escaping this Monkey King with the skewer. It's not the best choice, but they're also running out of time, so they need to choose. But
It will be the Night Stalker. Okay, but you said you didn't like it anymore.
Look, I mean, I love the hero, but okay, so this is me stretching. There you go. Sorry.
Is it also Tundra stretching?
A little bit, but like the reason why I like the hero because like the game, like vision, the amount of like pressure you apply is insane. But it always is like, can you get through like the laning phase, like the first 10 minutes? Can you get to phase boots plus one item to then dictate the game? And clearly Tundra have together gone, we can get there. So I respect the fact that like they know this hero is good if you can, you know, hit the beats of the weakness of the hero. So I like the hero. I hate the first 15 minutes. So if they can do it, then cool. Night Stalker will be able to lock down the puck. We've mentioned puck is such a key component, right?
Yeah.
Do you really buy BKB within your first 2-3 items on this hero? No. Therefore, if Night Stalker can actually survive, then it's going to be really good. But can he survive then?
I thought this hero's better.
I think he can survive. I think it's not a bad Night Stalker pick at all. Like, the lane versus Monkey King can be tough, but he does have a Murano support, and Night Stalker is a lot tankier than a lot of the other melee offlaners that we think about, and really all he needs is to hit that level 6, go with his silence, kill the puck, and he'll have a game. All he has to do is just not feed on that offlane, and 1 or 2 successful nighttime rotations with darkness, and he's in the game pretty well. It solves a lot of the problems they had, and it scouts Monkey King in the tree line with his ulti, so I like it.
He's going to have Night Rain passive, so the first 5 minutes, something that Night Stalker always was very bad at, was playing the lane. Now he can't put the pressure. The lane is not as bad as you would think first 5 minutes because it's going to be nighttime. But also the biggest part, the biggest nerf, also I would say this is one of the biggest nerfs we've seen recently, is especially to the Night Stalker, because he doesn't have that refresh anymore on his ability. So you need to use your silence, you don't have the second silence. But overall, I think I'm going to go with Tundra. They're cooking. I like the first 4. The 5th one is not the strongest hero right now, but I think they're onto something.
Okay, let's see if the coach of Falcons agrees that Tundra is onto something. We're heading over to Pyrian, who's with AY2000.
Yes, I am Shiva. Aoi, let me just ask you, first of all, haven't seen the drafts. Did anything that they came up with, were you expecting it, or was it kind of a surprise draft for them?
I mean, we were not expecting Night Stalker 24. Honestly, I haven't seen this hero in a single pub. Sometimes that means the hero's really bad. Sometimes it means that they have like a specific idea that they saw in this game. I think it should be pretty good for Spock, but I'm not too sure like its lane, so we'll just see.
So you're comfortable with the draft that you guys ended up with?
And we're always comfortable until we're not, you know?
That makes sense, sure. Hey, this is interesting, but the coach for Tundra, Moonmeander, used to be a teammate of yours on Chaos Esports. Sum up for me what it's like having him as a teammate.
Moonmeander is a very like high energy individual. Like he's very motivating, but like he's very emotional too, I think. And it can be like positive or negative. And I think like for me, like he fits the coach role at Tundra a lot because I think he'll energize him, and I think he's a really good drafter actually. So I think that helps him.
Do you feel? I feel like the standard of this TI has been extremely high so far. Would you agree with that?
Honestly, not really. I think a lot of teams, including us, aren't in their best form. Like I think teams, I don't know what it is. Like there's just something like it's not as clean anymore. Maybe that means the standard is high and it's more competitive, but I think like there's a lot of like unforced errors this TI that I've seen, including from us. So.
Good heavens. Well, hopefully we won't see too many from your team today, and we're going to send it over to the casters now. That's OD and Fob. Take it away, chaps.
Thank you very much, Ted. Yes, we're ready for this one. Tundra versus Falcons. Let's see who's able to come out on top. And indeed, if they can step it up, folks. I mean, we had Howie there saying that the level of Dota has not been too great. I mean, we're still early days of the tournament. We can only imagine it to get better. And here, with this level of matchup between these two teams, we should be expecting some top-tier stuff, right?
Absolutely. I think the biggest question for me is really just going to be this Night Stalker. It really is a huge question mark. It's not been played much in pubs. It's gotten nerfed massively and stuff like that. Yes, it's going to give them this type of scouting mechanism for the Monkey King and a potential silence for this puck, which they pretty much had no good catch for this puck. But is he actually going to be able to get to that point and be able to do stuff? We'll have to see, because it does feel a little bit risky. The rest of the lineup, it's very oriented around buffing this Wind Ranger, making her be that absolute monstrosity, but I don't know, Night Stalker is definitely a tougher hero. We'll have to see how Ramses can make it work.
Well, that's it. How prepared do you think they were? Oh, there we go. First blood's going to end up down bottom. Crit is able to take out Whitemon. Got to keep our eyes on him. Crit on his hook wing and bring out some pretty spicy stuff. He's off to a hot start down bottom.
Yeah. Oh, what were you going to ask? Sorry.
In terms of their draft and obviously how much Ramses was targeted in bans,
yes.
It gets to the point where they're bringing out the Night Stalker for Ramses this game. If you're Tundra, do you think this was something you prepared for? Do you think they've done games with Night Stalker behind scenes, or is this kind of like we got to pull something out that we, in most situations, haven't been forced to play? Like, are we seeing other teams heavily target Ramses as much as Falcons did today?
I haven't seen teams target him as much. I think they've gotten a lot of information just because of those dominant, like the Mars. I think he's been the one who popularized it the most. But I want to say this was like a, oh my goodness, we need something for this puck. Oh my God, what's left? Oh my God, we're out of time. But maybe it is something that he has played in a couple of his pub games and stuff like that to try it, but this hero is very tough to make work, so looking forward to see what he's going to do with it. And his lane, so far, versus the Monkey King, it's actually pretty decent.
See how that's able to continue. Looking at this mid-lane matchup so far. One against the Boundless Dragon Knee coming in. He's ticking down low, and Skeeter's able to reach in and get that final swipe to take him down. Stand his ground against Ramses, but it's a little bit tougher right now, so we'll have to back away.
Level 3 is going to be much more difficult, I would imagine, for the Night Stalker, which is that level 2 Jingu that's going to be coming out, of course. But yeah, getting those 10-3 last hits, not too shabby. And mid, they wanted this puck versus Thompson. You see how much pressure you can apply versus this hero, the constant heal that you get now from phase shift. These players are abusing it to the maximum. You can do really cool tricks where you walk under tower, phase shift, and actually take 2 hits in a way, and you heal so much from the innate. It's pretty crazy what you can do on this hero now.
And overall, do you like the approach from Tundra that seems very much to go all in on the Wind Ranger? Right? They're going to have lots of buffs, lots of ways to really enable Pure as the game goes on. Is that something you're comfortable with, or do you feel the Falcons, they've got a few more options to take the game in different styles if things start to go a bit crazy?
My worry is that it's not a full 4 protect 1, because they do have the NS and the Invoker that can kind of scale, but there's a Doom on the enemy lineup, there's a Bat Rider. These are the hard heroes that single target focus and just remove a hero from the game, right? And Doom dispels. So let's say you throw all these buffs onto this Wind Ranger and stuff, you can get rid of a decent amount of them. The ones that are dispellable, of course.
Pressure continuing in the mid here. Thompson still holding his own very nicely. 13 for 5 against the 17 for 5. Thompson continuing to get very, very low, but keeping his cool. Doing the math, knows that Maori doesn't quite have it in him to burst in as of yet.
Yeah, Ramses is actually continuing to do very well. I thought he would start to slow down a little bit in these next few waves, but he's able to get the healing Lotus as well. And man, yeah, this mid lane, I don't think we can look away.
It's the classic, Thompson, as low as he is.
I'll keep tabs on the other ones, but my goodness, at any moment, Thompson.
Maori trying to go for it here. Thompson holding his ground, turning with the cold snap.
Another orb.
Maori's going to be ready to go again in a second if he wants to. Now he's actually going to play it defensive and back off. Doesn't want to go for it. I mean, you can't take those risks. There's such a high chance if you're laning against Thompson and you go for a dive, it very easily could be turned upon yourself and you're going to end up being the one feeding under the tower.
Yep, it's all about these stick bait plays that they're trying to go for each other. I see Crit is starting to make his way over because they're playing so low, but there is a ward to scout it, so Thompson will be aware of this one. And he is getting that heal up, the 3rd point in Quas now. Each hit heals you, 18 I believe it is or so. So the sustain does come in quickly if you do leave him alone for even just a couple seconds.
Yeah, and he's got the Tornado and the Cold Snap invoked, so ready with the defensive maneuvers if he does get dove upon.
Cool lane start. I feel we've been 90% staring at the mid lane, so looking at those side lanes, things are looking pretty good still for both sides.
Not quite able to get the
nice
down to Pure indeed. Be sure that the bushwhack doesn't connect from Crit.
Daytime in 1 second, and they're going on Ramses immediately right before it.
And the Jingu building up the Boundless coming in. A couple more hits. He's healing up Ramses. Not enough though. Skeeter's able to dive under the tower, take him down.
That must have been a coordinated move because it's 5 minutes and 8 seconds. They know there's like 7 seconds left on that nighttime, and they make the move right away. Very cool stuff there. Falcons. Yeah, we keep seeing these tree cuts from Pure, trying to at least protect himself from getting caught from some of these bushwhacks. Amar is keeping them low on the mana. I feel like every time I've seen these Dooms, they've been getting the mana burn creep. 6-minute power rune. Snaking already set up in the area. Saksa also looking to check top.
And I guess with the levels now for Thompson, he's able to pretty much stay at full HP. You know, the burst from a puck, not enough to threaten him. It's going to take heavy rotations to try and do something. So What Marion will still hold the lead. Thompson, he's probably going to start catching up, and we can see already getting a lot of denies in this matchup.
Which means he's higher level, so he's actually kind of ahead because of the way the Mastermind works for Invokers. So those 12 denies are actually pretty important. So pretty good so far there from Thompson in that matchup. And yeah, both level 6 now. Good to see what they can make happen with these moves. Because gotta be careful how you overextend. Versus either one of these are excellent counter gankers, the Invoker and the Puck. So these side lanes do have to watch out how far they make a move.
Absolutely, very likely that both are going to be ready with a TP.
Malrine continues to get some stacks going for himself, while on the side of the Invoker, he can't really do that. So bottom, quick TP out here. Taking a bit of a beating here.
It's pretty beefy now that he's got the double braces out.
It's still just, he just keeps mana burning him though. Like this Wind Ranger is in a risky position if there's a rotation that comes out. Not really much mana to work with, not much HP either. Now he's pigging him. We might see a gate rotation. I think Snaking's gonna make the move down.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming.
Pretty much completely out of mana on Pure, and he doesn't have any stick charges either. So
He knows this is coming though. This is a heads up read. Here.
Decent knockback.
He's got the stick win run.
And with the buff up from Whitemon, Pure's going to be able to break away, get another win run off. Looks like Whitemon will pay for this though, as the three of them collapsing upon him, taken down.
Very heads up.
And Thompson, he's thinking of making a move around here. But on his own into these three heroes, probably not somewhere that he wants to continue to head.
No, not very easy for him to go down there. And seeing the build, okay, so I was wondering what the itemization was going to be from Ramsey. It might just be a phase auto Blinka build, just because he needs to get on the puck. That could be pretty cool. Sentry's down, Thompson.
I wanted to stick around for the power in, it ends up spawning at the top. Now the fight will kick off as Saxon Pure turn up to back him off. There'll be the Dream Core down onto the two of them, but they'll stand their ground. Take out one, indeed, the three-man bushwhack coming in will allow them to take out Thompson in return. Boundless strike down on Pure, but the win run's there. Jump forward with the waning rift. Mowering continues to attempt to stay on top of Pure. Jump forward as well from Skeeter. Pure can have another win run in a few seconds. Jumping from Whitemon holds them back. It's going to give Pure the space to back.
The sacrifice.
But indeed, once again, Whitemon's going to be the one to die for that one. As Falcons, they'll pick up a 6th kill.
That's 3 now on Whitemon very early on. He's giving his life for Pure, which is all important, but even these kills does hurt. Amar is level 6 now, does have the Doom at the ready versus Pure, and they're stalking him. Skeeter still has full Jingle stacks.
They really want this Wind Ranger. And yeah, this time round, Pure unlikely to have much of backup at all coming in.
He'll make him work for at least a bit, but inevitable that he's going to get caught.
Skeeter, another kill to be found. Top lane, dive coming in here from Ramses and Thompson. They'll be able to punish the fact that Snaking's been left on his own as pick up the XP on this lane. So some action to be found in return by Tundra.
A kill's a kill, but it is that 5 position. So, I mean, we do see Snaking, of course, die like that quite a bit. Tower is still pretty healthy. Are they going to look to set up for it? Trying to get as much damage as possible with Ramses' ult active. Blackguard thrown out too. Yeah, they're bringing Doom. Whitemon, careful.
Starting to get a little bit low. Mars just able to drop down the Doom, but the Ghost Wall was immediately there. The Invis up should be able to sneak away and no follow-up damage, so Thompson will survive.
That was very quick fingers there from him.
Yeah, immediately getting that Ghost Walk off.
But the lanes are, after already these lanes, it's a 3K lead here for Falcons with the quick moves that they're making. The swings across the map from Skitter is good mark. Tip him. Good.
Respect smiley face there. But Thompson's
Thompson, he just walked into tower range. Okay. Weird. And Pure is just very shut down so far in this game. And they do have lots of different, as we were mentioning, there's lots of ways to address this Wind Ranger in this game. The Doom, the Lasso. Doom in particular is always going to be good because it's got that basic dispel, moves Wind Run, moves any buffs, gets the catch onto her. So, yeah, Pure has to be a little bit more careful with positioning.
Now looking to enter into the Ancient area.
Okay,
Thompson's got eyes on Amar.
Nice
jump forward from Saxa.
The Starstorm actually misses because of the tornado.
Indeed, the spells weren't quite there in sync with one another perfectly. They'll still get the kill, but this has given time for Falcons to respond. Drops down the Wukong's command. Thompson's able to get out of range of it.
Pure?
They can catch him, and with the bushwhack and the sharp shot coming in the Dream Coil as well, they've got the lockdown. Whitemon's going to try and jump in and have the control to take out the puck, but they can't threaten Malorine. Malorine's perfectly fine, jumps back up, they've killed off Whitemon. Pure will manage to escape this again somehow. I mean, Whitemon doing his best every single time to bail Pure out, and it's working.
I'm surprised neither of those two cores
I thought they were going to have him.
Either Pure or Thompson to be taken out there. Now Ramses, he's got the blink. They see it with the ward. This is their option to be able to kill Malorine. As we see there, he's very elusive in the fights. Not many disables to be able to catch him. Now with this blink, this could be the difference maker for Tundra to try to catch him. And they do have nighttime for 3 minutes or about 4 minutes. So look what they want to try to do with it here. I think they want to just keep moving around with Thompson inside this Ghost Walk.
All 5 of them now looking around this tier 1 in the mid lane, Tundra.
Have to use the nighttime to its utmost advantage.
They're ready to dive. Falcons playing cautious.
Getting caught. Fritz checking the rune. Snaking, stacking.
Snaking, some quick flame break. The cold snap tornado combo setups there. They'll catch Snaking. With that, they can continue this push in the mid.
Should have this tower finished off. It's a 5. This time it's a 5-position kill, but it's a good one. He's going to lead them directly into this tower as well. And yeah, we're seeing the Mage Slayer build that we've seen Thompson do a couple times already be queued up. Besides that, nothing else too different. Amar has got a bit of a different build with this phase drum. This is not what we've seen every time. Thompson in it.
And he goes straight for the setup. He does have the back of Amar and crit. They'll get the Doom laid down onto Thompson. Knocked back for the Flame Break as well. They'll be able to bring in the damage to take down the Invoker. Crit. He'll get caught at the side by Ramses. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Make that into a 2-for-1. Stacks are getting locked down. Falcons, they're ready to try and chase on for more. They've got eyes on Ramses. Let's see if Ramses is able to get far enough away to get a chance to blink out. He's pretty speedy.
He looks okay.
And indeed, with the blink back up and available, they cannot continue to chase him. So Ramses escapes. But Falcons making a good jump there. No hesitation from Malorine as he immediately drops that Dream Coil down on the Thompson.
Yeah, and good flank there from Amar and just gets right behind him. Yeah, like I was saying, different items coming out from this Doom that I've seen in majority of the games. This is just early onset aggression that they want to be able to match Tundra's tempo. Because it is a fast-paced draft from Tundra, which is, I would say, not really that cooldown reliant, right? It's the Night Stalker who plays a little bit around that and the nighttime. So Tundra can play fast, and I think Falcons is trying to be able to respond to that at all times with this Doom build.
Looking for Pure, but it's a bit of a bait. Ramses and Saxa, they're ready with a surprise jump straight over towards the Hoodwink. In with Whitemon as well, they'll be able to completely control and take down Crit, and maybe look for more. Snaking.
Got the numbers here.
He's going to get focused first. Now they want to turn towards the bigger kill. They want to try and find Skeeter, but Skeeter's able to jump safely away with the Primal Spring. They'll have to settle for just snaking on the back. They turn back towards him. They'll be able to take out the 2 supports.
Very nice, successful movements with this nighttime. Ramses is actually making this Night Stalker work so far now. First 14 minutes, he's top 2 net worth. Doesn't get the puck kill, but makes a nice aggressive move around that Knight.
Thompson.
Out of mana. There you go. Cool game so far. 7-12. Things are very even though. How many deaths do we have? I'm actually gonna check how many deaths do we have on these supports. So 8 support deaths on the side of Tundra, and 6 support deaths on the side of Falcon. So it's a lot of these supports just getting killed in these fights.
Yeah, which cores are yet to die is watching Malorine and Skeeter, the 2 that are yet to fall this game.
The 2 kind of elusive ones, right? So we'll see if Ramsey's going to be able to address that, as daytime is going to be hitting in about 30 seconds, so you can already see Tundra, their posture immediately has kind of shifted from that aggression, back up, get some farm, look to get that itemization, or wait until, you know, Dark Ascension's up. They do have 60 seconds for that one too, so when it's back up, they can look to make these plays, but very reliant on nighttime, it feels like, for Tundra in this early game, early mid-game at least.
Saxa getting away with getting in and out of the jungle there. Falcons did start to collapse in on him.
And he's doing his build. Pretty much his staple build that I've seen from Saxa. He varied a little bit some of the days with some bracers and stuff, but he's been rushing Shard every single game to keep that farm going.
Falcons, they're ready to pounce. Smoke from the 4 of them.
Yeah, they want to make as many moves as possible in day. And Skeeter actually bought his Shard, so something interesting to point out as well. Not something you see too often on these MKs. He was about to have Echo, and he just bought Shard
Thompson
instead.
getting some good info, though. He knows that they're around here. He'll throw the tip out the way of Amar.
Nicely done from Thompson. This is such a good quality of life thing that I think any Invoker player has just been dying for. Being able to cast spells or invoke and use your orbs when you're inside of this Ghost Walk just adds so many more different possibilities for the Invoker. So Thompson just constantly playing in that Ghost Walk is nice. And yeah, we see fastest on the record for the Monkey King shot.
It was, yeah, by 1 second.
Yeah.
On that shard timing this game from Skeeter.
It's interesting too because he had the gold for the Echo and he's just like, no, shard's just way more important. It is very impactful. Either to get in, get out, extra burst, extra slow. All right, Ramses, he's got ult at the ready.
You were doing very well. I'm very proud of you.
Hard to get the jump on Falcons though. They're set up very defensively.
Something I'm going to be checking also on Falcons is how many Force Staffs are they going to be getting, because it's the kind of answer to protect the puck versus the Night Stalker. I actually see Malrina's queued up a Force Staff even. So definitely going to look to have some answers versus that Night Stalker silence. Saksa.
How much they want to drop for him. If they want to drop anything at all, they will commit the lasso.
And yeah, we saw yesterday Miposhka playing this 5 Bat Rider, and he wanted the solar. I think Snaking is identifying, yeah, the blink is that important to get. You know, we had talked about the lack of initiations for Spirit's draft in that game. Snaking rushed it, so he'll get at least a blink lasso there from it, even if it's just a support.
A few moments now where Tundra haven't really been able to find the fight that it seems that they're hungry for. Falcons staying ahead. Can they get the setup on the Maureen? They've got the Tornado, the EMP as well, but the phase shift's there. He's able to dodge the EMP, jump out with the Waning Rift. He should be able to get away, no problem. In fact, Snake King's jumping in to get the Dream Card down. The Boundless Strike out onto the two of them. They're taking out Whitemon. Pure and Thompson, they're trying to hold their ground.
Big damage on Skitter.
Jumps in. They want to try and focus down the Monkey King, and they'll be able to do so. Pure takes him out, but now Amar comes in with the Doom straight on the
Malrine.
Ramses has made the jump on the Malrine. Amar should be able to finish off Pure. As Pure ticks down very, very low. In fact, is Pure going to survive? Not. The final tick of the Doom does kill him, but Tundra finally able to find a successful fight back against Falcons, in which they take out the three of them. And indeed, maybe Amar as well. Ramses and Thompson with the chase down. They've got the control. Sun strikes off the mark, but Amar very little way out of this one. As backup comes in from Whitemon. A pause comes out as well. All right, what's going on there?
Something happened.
Admin.
Oh, okay. Whoopsie.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Well, it didn't seem to have messed with them too much because they do get incredible. It's fine. Yeah.
It was an awkward time for the pause, but you know.
But it ends up.
It's good that it's nice that Amar he respects a good BM pause. He's like, it's all right. It's just a BM pause. I appreciate it.
They're gonna get the back. Don't worry.
That's a good one. But yeah, quite a fight there. Beautiful. For Tundra there, cleaning them all up.
And interesting how they started it too. It was kind of like, there's no way they kill this puck on the initial go. They need Ramses to kill the puck, right? So they make this kind of weird tornado play, but it baits Falcons to overextend onto that high ground. Oh, and then they get caught after.
Well, back in action. Falcons, they're looking for some revenge. They'll get Ramses straight out on the map. They'll take the Night Stalker down. Tundra, they've got to hide. Whitemon, they're aware that he's around. Snake King definitely notices that something's up around here.
It's daytime, so they're trying to make these plays as well too. Yeah, Whitemon. Gonna turn on Snake.
Oh, he is. And the lasso is there. Snake's gonna be able to lock him down, drag him over the water mark. Falcons claim a couple of kills per turn. This Whitemon can get the deny. He's gonna try for him. No, but no, Amar's got it. Another kill for Amar.
I have been chasing supports and stuff like that, right? Any extra bit of time that you're buying for your force field to get that farm, and Pure, top 2 net worth, Thompson as well. This game is looking pretty spicy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We've had some slow ones so far today, but this one is heating up big time. 11 to 17, just 19 minutes in. Big Imps coming out of Mar with this aggressive build phase drums, and now the completed Shivas, I believe, are very close to it. He's got the money. So pre-20-minute phase drum Shivas guard. This is a pretty terrifying Doom.
Absolutely. And right now it's still daytime for a little bit, but it's about to hit night, and Ramses is very close to BKB, so a bit of an item timing that Tundra's going to be hitting soon and might want to look to get aggressive, because we see also Pure. I love that we're seeing this in not every game, but in more and more of these games for the Wind Rangers. They're not rushing the 10. They're getting the BKB after the Maelstrom to be able to fight inside these mid-game team fights. And I think this game is really culminating for a real big mid-game team fight. It's pretty much dead even on gold and experience.
One of the closer ones we've seen. This team so far proving to be very evenly matched in their openings.
How many 4 steps do we got queued? So Malreed, he's got 1. So that's 1 protection versus the Night Stalker and Crit. He's got a 4-step, so secondary 1 to try to bail out the puck, and I think Snaking's also built. So we'll have to try to keep track of those to see how much Malreed can actually survive versus Ramses.
Smoke time from Falcons. They're ready to go again. They've got their ults. They're ready to look for some action.
And this is cool because it's nighttime, right? So they're making the call that even into night, with these new items they've got, they're confident to fight.
It's a good time to go. Not indeed on paper, the threat of fighting into night is there, but it's the fact that Tundra, they may be feeling comfortable. They're like, they're not going to go for us. It's nighttime. A surprise, they are. They'll find Whitemon.
They will use a lasso. The shackle connects on 2.
Yeah, maybe Tundra could do something in return. If Pure's going to try and step up with a moment, but Amar just turns around, slams down the Doom on him. So Pure's going to be a bit careful how he approaches this fight. Thompson poking him from the side, trying to bring down Crit on the Hopewing. Can he'll get him? Hopewing to fall. Right forward as well. Saxa leaps in, right clicks towards Amar, but Amar's too speedy with his phase drums. He's able to safely disengage. Same to be said for the rest of Falcons by the looks of it. They'll bring back Malreed in. Saxa trying to finish him off, but Saxa won't be able to finish the job as he gets taken down.
Pure?
Skeeter's ready to go
He's
back.
so low.
Yeah, I mean, Pure tried to push up as low as he was after the Doom had come to an end. Skeeter standing his ground, he builds up the Jingu, but Tornado is there. He's not going to be able to continue to lifesteal as they take Skeeter out. Amar's getting chased down by Ramses. Run away here. The final moments of the ping pong. Getting so fast, but they have the blink. Ramses is able to jump back in, gets the setup for Whitemon as a double kill for Ramses. Falcons, they may have come looking for that fight, but it's Tundra that take it.
What a fight. Thompson just stood his ground. I think he casted like 14 different spells or something in seconds.
That's a lot of damage there coming out from him.
Yeah, he actually was the absolute X factor because Pure pretty much did nothing in that fight, right? He kind of ran back in after the Doom and died, but Thompson held his ground, dispels the Jingu, gets these Tornado Cold Snaps in pretty much in perfect situation.
Check it out.
Absolutely the X factor in that fight.
This start already, I guess, was a little bit risky, close to the tier 2. Nice Shackle definitely gave Tundra the strength to sort of say, hey, let's try and take this fight. As you said, with the angle from Thompson,
Look at him
he gets
go.
to play his hand freely multiple times.
He literally got to pretty much full play the entire team fight because he just stood his ground and casted everything. Okay, maybe he didn't cast like 14 spells, but I saw like 6 or 7 at least, and then he was just getting the alacrity right clicks. And Falcons, they went back in to look for this fight, right? Because Skitter saw the call, he saw Pure walking in low, but that respawn, you know, that fight lasted, what, 40 seconds? Whitemon's able to come back toward the end of it. Very cool stuff. 16 to 20. And that was, I believe, right before Ramses even had the BKB. I think he got it at the tail end of the fight. I believe Whitemon actually delivered it to him, if I saw that correctly.
Oh. Skeeter. One was trying to jump out of this one. He'll get out of the Wukong's command, but the pushback from Crit connects. Sharpshooters do get blocked by Pure. Pure comes in with the save to make sure Whitemon doesn't get sniped. Thompson can get something in return here. Ramses so ready to jump. BKB ready once again. See how aggressive they want to go with this one time. But Ramses leading the way. He's on the retreat.
He's giving them all this information, that vision.
Who does he want to go for, Ramses? It's a bit too deep of a dive right now, getting this far onto Falcon's side of the map, so they'll hold back Tundra.
Wow, yeah. And so I actually think I saw a couple extra things in that fight. I don't know if he bought the gem in that last fight during the respawn from Whitemon, but I think he delivered Ramses' BKB during the respawn. So that was kind of cool little play that they communicated there.
They keep going. Smoke.
Well, nighttime for a little bit longer.
Falcons should be pretty aware that this is coming for them. They're hiding under the tier 2.
Amar has a Crimson, but it is dispellable from Tornado. So
Thompson. He's going to try and start the action off over towards Crit. Amar's ready to head in, but straight away Ramses with the silence. So Amar's not able to get the immediate Doom off. It's already been taken down to half HP. The sharpshooter comes in, but Tundra, they're able to safely back off. Falcons, they'll jump in, get the lasso connection in on towards Thompson. Boundless as well. This time, the first blow is able to turn, get the tornado off, but he won't survive. Thompson falls. Falcons now have the opening to chase potentially for more, but Pure and Ramses, they're fast. A little too fast for Falcons to catch up with, unless Pure sticks around a bit too long. Boundless is there. The shards, Skeeter able to close in. Crit's watching from the high ground, but the BKB's out.
He's got a TP.
The TP with the last moments there is not going to be anything to stop it, so Pure will make it back safely.
I think that one they identified, okay, you need to put more priority onto Thompson. You know, just throw, they need to get either a lasso or one of these big spells onto him. They tried to get the initial Doom, the silence came out to cover it, but now Doom is actually still available for that potential next fight, and it is about to be daytime, so.
See again here that attempt. You know, Thompson is feeling very, very strong, of course, down to the fact that he's able to, feels that he's able to get away with leading and starting the fight himself as the Invoker. Trusting him, obviously, as we saw in Ramses, to back him up with that AoE silence, as you say, but as it was, not enough to get him out of there. They split up, they back off, Thompson gets left behind.
These fights are going to get a lot of elements into it too. He's now, what we say, that's
Double lasso. I mean, the two supports, they're trying to fight back here, Saxa and Whitemon. Saxa's caught by the Dream Coil, he'll finally fall, the two of them are gone. Sharpshooter's not going to connect onto Ramses. Ramses does have the BKB as well ready if he feels pressured. He's going to continue to hide along the tree line.
He has to stay alive. This gem is all important for their team.
And this is such a scary part of the map for him. As I say, he does have BKB, blink up, and in fact, yeah, he's going to make sure he continues to play the distance against them, trying to keep some sort of information available for the team. Cannot afford to reveal themselves. So Falcons, they're going to get the chance to push in onto the tier 2 bottom.
And Ascension was used, and it's about to be like that long daytime for a bit here. So 90, about 100 seconds before the next one. Pure
towards him. Again, his BKB is at the ready. He'll have to pop in and run. Doom is there. He's going to go straight away for the TP. Do they have the damage to bring him down through it? They don't. He'll get back to the fountain. And the Infernal Blade, damage to the Doom.
He's going down, it looks like.
Nah, he's living. He's living.
Oh, 3 HP!
Wait, it wasn't 3, like 30.
It was 3, Owen.
No.
It was, unless I'm really blind, which is very likely, I do have these glasses.
It was low. It was low, but he lives. He lives, he gets it. Still though, a few times now, Peter's having to use these BKB charges just to get the hell out.
Yes. They're ticking down. I think they just got these BKBs. It hits down to that 7 seconds very quickly.
Oh, where's the replay? Let's see. I know it's 32.
How much you want to bet?
Let's have a look.
Let's show her.
Did it go down a single?
Let's see.
True.
I think it was.
Okay, this is a very slow replay. This is.
It's gonna be 3.
It's 32. Oh, it was 3. I'll give it. Okay, that's some good eyesight you got there.
Thank you very much. It's really not good.
Look at that.
How long for this next nighttime? So Ascension's back up, 20 seconds. Nullifier's queued up for Ramses.
Okay. They want to go regardless. They don't want to wait for that next item. They want to try and fight. Problem
10 seconds.
Coming straight forward. Snake kick.
10 seconds on Ascension.
Get that lasso. He's been doing good so far with the lasso initiation. Snake kick. He's not afraid to just jump in and use it to start off the action. Knows that it doesn't really matter, it feels like, what target Snake kick gets, because they have these other big ultimates, the Dream Coil and the Doom, it's a safe for the call.
Look what Thompson's doing. He tracked both mid and creep waves with his Forge Spirits.
Yeah. He's got Whitemon and Ramses here, and he's going to find himself a freebie. Crit's gone, and they're in fact going to look to take down the Tormentor, take that away from Falcons.
That was cool. They had it seems like they had an exact read of that movement, because Thompson sent Forge Spirits to drag the mid wave, and then they completely avoid the fight to look for that right side to wait for their Ascension to come back up too. Very good understanding. And Thompson top net worth with Pure. Very cool.
Roshan time?
Should be able to get this one.
I think so, right? I don't think Falcons are in any sort of position to get over here soon enough to challenge him. Who's taking this out? Pure or Thompson? Probably Pure, right? I feel like he's a bit more vulnerable than Thompson at this point.
That's actually good. Probably Pure.
Yeah, I think you get it. Yeah, Pure's going to take this one.
And we're seeing it. I was wondering when
Thompson's already ready with the setup mid. He's TP'd over.
Oh, he might be fine today.
I think he might. Snake, how long is he going to stick around? Not too long. I mean, Thompson's going to try and close the gap here with the Hurricane Pike, but the Tornado's not quite on angle. Snake King's out.
And we're seeing the Lincolns are starting to get queued up, by the way. So these Dooms, these lassos and stuff, they're going to start having some answers at the least. And I think Thompson, he does have a BKB, so triple core BKBs on the side of Tundra at the moment. Well, on the side of Falcons, it's just the one. So definitely for Skeeter, it's the most important one.
They're playing aggressive, but they've got the Deso now done on Skeeter, so his damage has stepped up. It's not going to be super easy to kill off Pure.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Because I guess this is a bit of a late Deso purchase. Sometimes you see the Deso's kind of rushed on the Monkey King.
Early usually, yeah.
But a bit of a, you know, it's still, in terms of just value, damage for value, it's one of the best items in the game.
Sure.
And of course, it is great on the Monkey King for the Boundless.
And on the Wukongs, of course.
But you got to find those kills. You know, you pick this item up, you get it to go kill everyone. If you don't kill everyone, you're going to feel a little bit sad. Falcons just pick it up, they're ready to go. It's a good grab.
That's the ace.
They get the opening, but he's actually able to get the BKB off. They weren't able to get their follow-up chain stun, so Pure, he's able to get the BKB and back off and reset.
But that is a BKB, so
It is, but I think at the least, as you say, I think they were hoping to get the Aegis.
I think so too.
They didn't get it. He's able to keep it safe, and he's still got many minutes to play with it.
This game is just so tight at the moment here. Ramses is very close to this nullifier. I mean, this nullifier it's pretty scary. Versus like any of these saves, any of these type of protection, even versus Monkey who can just stand his ground. This Night Stalker hits hard too. He got Vindicator's Axe. So if he gets alone and left alone in some of these fights, once he gets this nullifier, he's gonna be doing well over 200 damage per hit as well. Throwing the Ascension is 300 damage, you know, so. And then Solar Flare, not something to scoff at by any means.
Yeah, and you're just not gonna be able to get away from it.
Yes, it is starting to feel, you know, even though we were mentioning the buff ups for the Wind Ranger, it hasn't really been that case much at all, and it is turning into a mini tricore that Tundra does kind of have. Ramsey's still a little bit under-farmed, but
I still have a good impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to see it, because I know, even Curtis, you can hear how he was saying it in that interview, too. It's just like, this hero is...
You just don't see it.
You just don't see it that much right now. Ramsey's decent so far.
Get some towers out of this Aegis as well. Tundra able to push down the tier 2 mid. Now they'll turn towards the bottom with that tower gold as well. That is the nullifier completed for Ramses. So they want to try and push at the high ground. Still 2 minutes left on the Aegis. They can definitely try and force a reaction from Falcons.
It does feel like they're getting a bit of momentum here. Just have to be a bit careful going into these high grounds sometimes versus this lasso. So much they'll respect it. And you see Amar, he's got a fresh BKB.
Yeah. But the Shackle, it's not a bad opening. They're able to immediately burn all the mana, and he's turning up with the Whirlwind, trying to dive forward. He gets held back by the Boundless. Bushwhack as well to hold him back.
A lot of damage getting blocked there. They were trying to, I mean, either trying to kill him or trying to force the BKB from Amar, but Amar is a bit too tanky. Can't hold on to that BKB.
Innovation of Falcons ready for that next poke from Tundra if it does come.
Some Aegis, still 90 seconds.
See how Tundra wants to go about trying to go for the high ground once more with that remaining minute.
Now that I get a moment of downtime too, I get to finally talk about some other things. I've seen a lot of varying builds of stats and whatnot on the Wind Rangers. This game, you can see that he actually put stats instead of maxing power shot, and because the stun is so important in this game, he actually puts more point in shackle versus the puck and stuff. Some of these games I saw 1 point shackle, 4 points power shot, and then stats completely. So
1 point shackle.
Yep, they've been doing that for quite a lot of these games. But this game, you can understand why he wants that extra disable. So little cool things I just want to point out for you now.
1 point shackle sounds kind of crazy. Are you giving up a 3 second stuff?
I know. I've even seen a lot of these Marana 4s and stuff go stats instead of maxing. Yeah. So, not this case, of course.
I guess they're like, hey, I'm the carry. You know, stunning that ain't my job. That's my supports. Yeah.
I like just being able to like see these because I've been seeing so many different types of variety of builds, and it's just cool to see how the players adapt from game to game.
I like this one. I think so. Points of the shackle, sure. I can see holding back points from the power shot. You don't want to, you know, at this point with the right click you have, you don't want to waste your time standing still charging up the power shot. You want to get in, you want to survive to the right. I'm on board with Cure's approach this game.
Yep, 5 seconds, Age is going to get reclaimed. The first Lincolns has been picked up. I imagine we're going to see many more as this game progresses, especially on the side of Tundra. Still just a 2K lead, they still very neck and neck. The Falcons being trapped in their base, it feels like for about 2 minutes now.
Yeah, I guess they can wait for nighttime to pass. Now that the Aegis isn't there, they can feel a bit safer at getting out the map and start the action again themselves. You know, Mar, of course, still incredibly strong to present on the front line.
They just need to get vision down, though, is the problem. They're playing versus a Night Stalker with gems, so this is the one ward that they can play around right now, and they're going to try to make a play around it, it does look like. Lincoln's thrown on Ramses.
It's around this Wisdom Rune timing as well, which Tundra, of course, are in the favoured position to set up and control.
Yeah, he's checking for the ward. Whitemon sacrifices his courier for it.
I mean, do they try and force a fight around this Wisdom Rune if they just let this go? Like, how do you start some action here as Falcons?
See if you can give them those big lassos on a core.
Thompson.
Got the last one on a board.
Tom's there, snaking immediately with the lasso. They'll get the follow. No, they won't. Tom's able to get the BKB off. I think the Lincoln. The
He put the Lincolns on it.
It was indeed thrown down on Thompson. It allows him to save himself from the doom. And now they can look for the kills themselves as they run down the three of them. A buyback comes out from Crit. Ramsey's he ready to dive the high ground. Shackle shots there. Immediate response by Tundra.
Instant Lincoln. You don't even see it.
It was absolute. It's so quick.
And look at that pure immediate with the ult.
They're going to get so much from it.
I think they can look to end it. They have the whirlwind. They can hit these
There's
tier
4
fours.
heroes dead, no buyback.
Oh, what a fight for
Look
Tundra.
at that.
All it takes is one.
It really does. I think that's going to be it. That Lincoln's play, it really just threw a massive spanner in the works there from Faust. I mean, without that...
Turbot Deso, they're ending. They're absolutely ending.
And they're going to be able to. First tier 4's gone, second tier 4's going down as well. The Ancient's going to be exposed. They've done it. A close game, but up until the ending moments, Tundra, with that Aegis, with the control that they got, gave no chance for Falcons to fight back. It's over. GG is called. Tundra.
Wow.
What a way to close that one up, folks.
Yeah, just patience, right? And just even though they get the, even though they get the initial jump on the Invoker, man, that Lincoln's hunting, it's absolutely instant. I didn't even see the blue go on.
No, I think it was just the same moment the Doom was coming in.
Yeah, perfect stuff.
Absolutely.
Overall, this Night Stalker ends up working pretty beautifully. I gotta say, Ramsey's.
Look at that, first pick this tournament, right?
Yep.
We didn't know what to expect. We heard it from our young Falcons side in the coach interview. He didn't know what to expect. And I think, if anything, that goes to show, Ramsey smiles on his face there. If you do want to just heavily target him during the draft phase, they've got backup plans. And that didn't feel like a backup plan. That felt like a pretty solid strat with the Night Stalker. He did a lot.
It felt like a solid strat, but also I do have to, I want to highlight Thompson quite a bit here. I think he played an absolutely marvelous game on this Invoker. He was able to, especially in the crucial fight when they kind of lost Pure and stuff, he stood his ground. He did so much so. Like, big props to pretty much everybody on Tundra, of course, but man, that was a very close game into a very explosive finish in pretty much 2 seconds.
Yeah, it really was a great game all round there for both teams. No doubt the Falcons are going to come back and hit very hard in the game 2 of this series. I mean, I guess the question is going to be what will change? I imagine the draft approach will. We're not going to see them target Ramses as heavily as they did this time, because that evidently didn't end up working out.
No, we're going to see the adjustments.
Yeah, well, there we go. What a game, ladies and gentlemen, of this best of 3 as it stands. Tundra will take game 1 against Falcons.
A strong start for Tundra. We'll see indeed the adjustments Falcons will be able to make for game number 2. But let's focus on this first game, because we thought this Night Stalker overall last 24th. We heard AUI 2000 as well. He's like, we didn't expect that. Came out of nowhere, but Tigo smashed it.
Yeah, no, it was delightful. I think the fact that if you ignore laning phase, like at minute 5, as soon as it went daytime, he instantly died. It's like the fact he went phase moves, he had blink dagger, like he understood that his assignment was to pressure as soon as possible. Other Night Stalker players, and why we don't really see it, let's say South Americans, they go for flat three. European Night Stalkers go for echo saver, right? But then Ramsey, he understands, okay, I need to go for blink, I need to play aggressive, and he forced Marine to go blink 4-star or putt. Like, you're going for a 4. Like, the fact that you have a hero from off lane that completely destroys the build of a hero that is popping up at TI. Like, Nisha earlier today owned the game on putt, right? So, that alone just disrupted what Falcons wanted to do in the game. And it was just one of the... You banned him out, but then he finds the one hero. I don't think there was any other hero that would have provided this much pressure in the game. And excellent pick from Tundra, and yeah, close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Night Stalker pick would work out well, but Ramses really played it perfectly. Like, he was weaving in and out of these fights. He was playing on the outskirts. He was resetting, and it looked like a lot of this game from Tundra was kind of an outskill at some moments, because Falcons did come out swinging too. They brought the pressure to them, and they were constantly fighting, but there were so many situations that looked like it could have gone bad for Tundra, and then like 2 heroes, like the Night Stalker plus Invoker, salvaged the entire fight, turning it into a full-man team. And it was really beautiful to see. Outside of the post-minute 5 when it gets daytime and Night Stalker gets pressured, he did great in the first 5 minutes. He was top of the network, he was out CSing and everything. This is the kind of player that you would want to put on a Night Stalker from the offlane, honestly. Someone who used to be a carry, who knows how to play versus carries, knows how to CS perfectly. And hats off to Ramses for this game.
And we gotta give credit to Thompson. Thompson and Invoker, always a treat to watch. What he does is, I think this is gonna be the fight where he stands his ground, knowing that Doom has been used, so he's just gonna right-click. This is the fight where he deals 5,000 damage plus, pretty much. And I want to point out the positioning. For Night Stalker, they understand how to play out this fight perfectly. Team Falcons are gonna come back into a fight one more time, seeing that there's an opportunity maybe to get some kills, but Monkey uses Stambless to charge, comes back into a fight, and now Ramses is going to go in. He's waiting until Monkey jumps in, and there's going to be a really nice tornado immediately from Thompson, knowing that without Jingu, this hero doesn't really deal that much damage, so dispelling that immediately, and they're really playing like a unit, and that's what I want to see in this track.
And that's beautiful too, because right before he got silenced, he just tornadoed with his last breath. He's like, I will contribute to the tornado, do my part. Because if those Jingu stacks hadn't been pushed off, the Night Stalker would have died too long. And even that fight itself, it happened because every player in Tundra did their part. When Batrider blinked in to lasso, he hesitated for 2 seconds to play Lasso Mercy. All of a sudden, there's a 2-man shackle shot holding the fight, keeping it anchored there for 3 more seconds, turning it into a reset.
And also, I think Tundra this game respected the mission so nicely. In that clip, Ramses hits the high ground wall just before the fight kind of extends. So Falcons think they have the good opportunity to turn the fight around. They lose their high ground vision as they jump in, and then after this fight, they pick up a gem, they put it onto the Night Stalker. We don't feel it too much because we don't see Night Stalker, but Night Stalker with a gem and a BKB is one of the hardest heroes to play against because you never have wards on the map, you never have any position to play. It's like as oppressive as like playing against like a slug, right? It's insane to play against. This is why Night Stalker is such a volatile hero, but again, less about Night Stalker, just the teamwork from Tundra was exceptional, and Falcons, I think they got a little bit surprised by Night Stalker, and because of that, everything kind of fell apart. Their normal strategies had to get reworked during the game, and yeah, it was a difficult one for Falcons.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful game, and of course the damage that we talked about, that comes into play at the very end, where off of one fight you win the entire game because of the Solar Flare and the Wind Ranger and the Alacrity, and your buildings just melted.
They really did. Kudos for Ramses for playing a hero that obviously he was very comfortable with, but it was after all his heroes were already banned out that they went for that, and it's very cool to see that you can just bust that out and crush with it. I also want to highlight that during the draft, Lacoste, you were talking, you know, there were like 3-4 picks in, you're like, okay, it's
a more
basically, it's a no. It was really good. You said it's like everybody buff up Wind Ranger game. And obviously Pure was there, Wind Ranger was there, but it wasn't the Wind Ranger show at all.
No, he was on the back foot pretty much throughout the whole game. He needed to farm up, but also his skill build was slightly different. Only 2 points in power shot. He did survive with 3 HP, which made that difference, especially because he didn't have those extra points in power shot. He didn't have stats, so all these things, all these small things that you do, they do tend to add up in the game. But yeah, he was mostly like farming, but staying also on top of the network. And at one point, you could see like the solar crest, the drums, the solar flares, everything that you do. Teams have been theory crafting how to increase the damage on your carries, but also itemization. Again, we're going back to Ramses. He's forcing, first of all, because this is not a meta where you're buying BKB early on. This is a meta where you're buying the auras, everybody's buying some damage items, and then you have Nullify, which is going to nullify all of that. And first of all, he's forcing you to buy 4 staffs on 2 of your support, so you're not getting all these tanky items as well. And then he nullifies all of that. Pretty good if you're asking me.
Pretty good. Can we focus a little bit about how Falcons played this? Because, you know, you go into a game against a Night Stalker, there's a couple of things you know you need to do, such as buying the 4 stuff that you mentioned, Effie, but are there more things that you feel like they could have done or that they tried but maybe didn't work out the way they were supposed to?
Yeah, I think their first couple of dooms did not go according to plan. Like dooming the Invoker who instantly ghost walks into another doom that doesn't turn into a kill. I think that maybe if there's a little bit more coordination in those early game rotations, that would have worked out for them, because they did have a strong early game and they did bring the tempo. It's just 1 or 2 seconds makes all of the difference, because Puck was connecting to Doom in that top lane when the Invoker got Doom, but Amar went in a little bit too early. Another situation that I talked about is hesitation potentially. Batrider blinks in, doesn't lasso the Mercy for 2 seconds, thinks that they can kill Mercy off of the knockback, sees that it wasn't happening, casts the lasso 2 seconds later, and those 2 seconds make all of the difference again. So while Falcons were making the good aggressive plays, like in this fight here, like they try to kill the Mercy off, like, not happening, let's lasso. Because of this, the 2-man shackle is set up later by Wind Ranger, which turns this into a bigger fight than it needed to be, because they were there for 2 seconds longer than they needed to be. Wind Ranger tanks the Doom here, which enables the rest of your team to pop off. We saw what Ramses and Invoker were able to do. So Falcons, while they had the right idea, and they were doing the good moves, the aggressive moves, there was just a little bit of misexecution that was the difference in 1 second or 2 second shoots.
Yeah, and also the way that Tundra played, it forced Falcons to itemize kind of in a way that they didn't want to, right? You've got 4 stuff on the Hoodwink, you've got 4 stuff on the Park, you've got BKB as your first item on Monkey King. Like we're talking about like an aura meta, tankiness, damage, and then Falcons at 20 minutes they're presenting survivability. That's it. They're not even like tanky. It's just get out of the fight. It's not even stand your ground in the fight. It's just retreat. And yeah, I think it's very rare that you see a team, of course, have to be put in this position. So it is massive kudos for Tundra to do that. But I expect in game 2, like we're not going to see this type of game. This was such a draft-heavy win for Tundra because of the X factor of Night Stalker. I think the next game should be back to an even playing field, and I think Tundra might even allow Ramses to go back to one of his heroes, so you don't have to deal with the what can he play. Just let him play his Mars or let him play a Centaur and draft around what you expect to see rather than the unexpected.
In this Night Stalker, the great success, is that a hero that you're expecting to see more, or was it just perfect for the situation?
Against Puck, I can see it more if your lane is set up for success, or at least you see a path to playing out the game. But it's a development of TI. I don't think other teams are going to jump on it, but in the back of your mind, you're now like, oh, do I have to think out Night Stalker? And it could be a reason why Tundra get an advantage in future drafts if you waste a ban on it, for example.
Yeah, and then it should be fairly easy to reset Lacoste, because if you were Falcons and you're going to point this, okay, you know what, we weren't prepared for the Night Stalker, we'll do better next time, we'll be better prepared for what's coming, should be easy to reset.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way they prepared was banning out Ramses.
Yeah.
It worked out. We were talking about the dirt isn't that, really big pick that could come out, so they kind of dug deep and went with something that is not popular, and it did work out. So if they lost this game, I think they pick Ramses hero first phase, maybe in the second phase immediately. But now, I don't know if they need to do that, but the problem is, will you have that surprise factor, as you mentioned, T?
I don't necessarily think this was a draft win. Like, I don't agree with that sentiment. I do think that the Night Stalker was a huge surprise to them, which made them have to itemize differently. But when we were looking at those fights and those skirmishes early on, they looked very even. And these fights were going on for a long time, and Falcons had a lot of gas in the tank. It wasn't that they ran into a wall where they couldn't do anything. When they just mis-executed a couple of times, which, I mean, nobody can execute perfectly, but when they just miss that Doom kill, Wind Ranger survives at 3 HP, Invoker dodges the first Doom, things like that, it does add up within the Dota game. So I think Tundra just played incredibly clean today, and they were on point. They look frightening if they can pull out like a secret hero like that and still own.
Who do you feel need to step up in game number 2 on the side of Falcons in order to push them over for game number 3?
I think that I would like to see a bit more out of Amar. Like, maybe it was just a little bit unfortunate, but I think if those early game Dooms had gone well, the game would have looked different.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amar and Malrine, they need to step up, especially with the tipping game. Maybe some old chatting as well, some smileys in the old chat, because they were on the receiving end this one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is all makes all the difference. Get into the heads of people. Although, we'll see. I think maybe a hero that's maybe also a little bit more explosive on the side of Amar. We've seen the Doom overall first pick a couple of times, and we've been questioning it because yesterday and the day before it had a abysmal win rate. We did see it win earlier today, and we said, okay, you know what, T? 33 is the one that can play it, and maybe Amar as well, but should we now remove Amar from that, or is this just first game jitters, or what is it?
I guess it's more like Liquid is such a quick team, how quickly did they extreme in game 2, that Doom thrives when the other two cores leave lane with even or an advantage, because of just what you can generate, the goals you generate. When your team struggles, and you only have one other core to play with, it doesn't feel like good. You go for a move, if the guy who's not having a good game is your stunner, then obviously you're missing the control, the escapes that we saw in the previous game. And I think clearly here, right, they didn't win all their lanes, therefore Doom can't capitalize on it. I think that's maybe it. It's just, you need your team to do well. If team doesn't do well, Doom just falls off very quickly.
I have to see Mars. We talked about this hero. They first found it out of the top of Ramses, who's been playing it really well, but Amar is one of the best Mars players in the world, if not the best, honestly, and we haven't seen Falcons bust that out yet, so maybe it is time, because this hero does counter Wind Ranger, it does counter Lina, it does counter Baron. All of these range carries do not enjoy playing into it.
The problem is now that I'm assuming that for game number 2 we're going to see the role splits where it will be Tundra getting first pick, leaving it in. Tundra might pick it up themselves before you even give Falcons a chance to steal it.
It's become potentially the offlane of the tournament, especially where now it's caused an upset playing the Mars. rings throughout the entire kind of team, all the teams. Like, okay, we're gonna think about this hero. But I'd be surprised if we saw it get through the ban.
The question is whether they want to ban like Dragon Knight again. I think this is the big hero for Tundra because they play it from the off lane, they play it from the safe lane. Pure is probably one of the best Dragon Knight players out there right now. It's not a flashy hero by any means, but sometimes he makes this hero look flashy, especially with the item build that he's going for. There was this one game where he went massive mats in the walls because this guy's really good at catching up in terms of farm. If he's not having a good lane, he's going to find an item build, he's going to find a skill build to get that extra farm on the maps.
Hey, it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, it was Skeeter that we praised for being a really good Dragon Knight carry. And
he's up there.
Oh,
yeah.
If anything, it's kind of like him and Falcons are the ones that really brought it to life through the kind of flexibility of doing patch of the go. Now with the fastest introduction, Red Facet, everybody wants to play a hero that gets a free battle fury, right? Every core player wants to skip buying an item just to feel good. Yeah, it's hotly contested. Probably I'd expect bans to be relatively close to the second game. We'll find out shortly, but there it is. Well, let's get rid of it. Both teams obviously want it, so probably the highest priority.
Well, yeah, Falcons banning it out, playing this game and this game again as well, so we'll have some of the usual suspects being banned out, but we'll see if there's any changes in that regard. Because if it indeed was mostly gameplay related, the loss that Falcons has suffered on behalf of Tundra, then maybe the draft doesn't need to change that much. Maybe you just need to be maybe more aware of the Night Stalker Pokemon. The X Factor. The previous game we had on the side of the team that did not pick first, or on the side of Tundra previous game, we had Naga, Sandy, Shadow Demon, and Tusk banned out. We already have a change there with Mirana being first phase banned. That was Tundra's first from the last game. We didn't really talk about Factor's Mirana at all. It's just solid.
It's very solid, and it says a lot if a team is banning a hero like Mirana who has not been flexed yet by the enemy team. Yeah. Only for the gun support. But like we saw, Ramses on the Night Stalker, the first 5 minutes were perfectly well for him. He was out CSing the Monkey King, and when that happens, it's because your position 4, which was Fox and Mirana in that case, is completely doing his job. He is bullying the enemy carry. He's keeping the other support away from him. He's disrupting kills. He's doing what he needs to do. And also, just because it hasn't been flexed, it doesn't mean that you don't respect the potential flex later.
Very true. And it also means that they don't ban out a hero that we highlighted during the previous game with the Invoker and the Night Stalker, even though I don't expect Night Stalker to be banned. Alright, so we got Centaur still banned out as well, Shadow Demon and Tusk. What leaves that in? Dragon Knight.
Doom and Dragon Knight in the pool, but seeing the Centaur ban, considering that Centaur is considered to be, a counter to Doom, they might just go with it again, and there it is.
I think that means that Falcons don't see an issue with their Doom. They still are confident in it, and they think that what happened last game was probably just internal gameplay errors that are easily adjustable. And if they believe in the idea, then I'm inclined to believe in the idea as well, because Amar is one of the players who has perfected Doom over this time.
The logic could also be if you do identical draft, and then you get to that 18th pick position, you either don't pick Puck, or you pick Puck and then you respect the Night Stalker that you do, right? So if they really wanted to, they could rinse, repeat, go again.
Run it back?
Yeah.
Well, apart from the fact that they won't be up against Mirana this time.
That's very true, because the solar flare from Mirana makes it so that heroes like Doom that want to run in aren't getting hit by 3 ranged heroes with solar flare on them, and before you can run in and Doom, you've lost half of your HP. That problem won't exist with Mirana taking on them.
We talked about how to increase damage on the heroes. Night Stalker, he increases his own damage by popping that Dark Ascension, which was kind of a big deal, plus the solar flare. You don't need to be close. Suddenly you have Night Stalker with just like level 1 who has extra 100 damage from these 2 abilities.
The heroes that we praised so much in the previous game after the spiel of the Night Stalker, the Invoker. I think it's what is cool with certain teams. They have, they identify playstyles or key aspects. Like they're not afraid just to pick the hero. And other teams here, they go, okay, maybe this is still available, this is still available. No, we saw how good Invoker was in the previous game. Lock it in now and protect yourself from that second phase set of bans.
Yeah, but they only have 1 ban to protect him.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early, this Invoker. I mean, Hobson is masterclass Invoker player, but when you don't have this So the idea last game was you have the solar flare, the alacrity, all of that extra damage. The mercy was also enabling the carry. At some point your carry's going to be too strong. This time around you've already lost a piece of that recipe that you cooked up.
Giving kind of counterpoint to that is like the control he's providing is always going to exist, right? Like a deafening blast, tornadoes, the constant factor will exist. Sure, he won't have the solar flare, but his game will still kind of be the same. Like wherever Doom goes, he follows early on. If you can just disjoint that fight, you can run away. The reason why Winner is living on like 3 HP is because you have time to just run away from the fight. That's what Invoker does bring.
And we've seen so many fights where Doom doesn't have mana. He's the one first getting initiated on by EMP tornado combination plus any kind of a stun/slow. He's not going to have mana. Mana pool is very limited, and he also needs to swap the Crimson Guard. He uses BKB. It's all these small things that add up. It doesn't cost as much mana, but still, you also want to use your ability. So one EMP on Doom, and he's kind of useless.
What do we think about inspiration taken from Watson, who played Invoker on the carry role? Is that something Pure could do?
I think when Watson played it, I can't remember what their offlane pick was. Was that Monkey King? No, so they last picked Monkey King to counter the enemy mid laner, and then they flexed Invoker to safe lane. So that's why it happened in safe lane. It's not necessarily something you think about, but it's something you can do if you see it better than you.
They also had probably the best heroes in the game to set up and stun strike with. They had Nyx Assassin and they had Veins of Sleep, or Nyx Assassin having that extra damage, so you can pretty much kill any hero on the map.
They can still do it.
They could. Probably will not, but the option is there.
And they also had Nyx because they were playing against
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, okay. I was but you don't want to just pick Nyx randomly, right? For something.
No, it's
that would be
also had
bad. Because of enchantment.
And they also had Nyx, which was very good.
Versus enchantment. Very good.
It's all coming together. Oh, enchantment gets banned. That doesn't make any sense in logic. But they do get Luna. Luna last game did not make it through the second phase of ban. She got banned out there. If we're talking about Mars gearing up to be potentially the off-laner of the tournament and thinking we are at the point where we can consider Luna the carry of the tournament team?
Yeah, I think in drafts and tournaments, it's always good to find the core that doesn't destroy the kind of the structure of your draft. And Luna is that hero, and you pick it. As long as there's a melee position 5 available, you know your lane's going to be strong. You're going to have high damage of your aura. The game's going to be good. You know, we heard in interviews yesterday the idea of like, what can a carry do after your BKB? And it's like Luna is naturally tanky because of the items you buy, the stats that you have, that she can stand her ground, and she isn't as fragile as some of the other cores when you don't have that BKB available. And just having that insurance is very strong. And also, of course, you do mixed damage, right clicks or magic damage based on your spells. It's a universally very strong hero.
I like this Rubik that came out from Falcons because it covers for the potential T plus Rubik that could have come out for Tundra, because you don't want to give them a counter pick plus another hero that secures theirs. And it looks good. It's a hero that can just displace on lane, so a lift back into a Scorched Earth could be a potential means to run down Luna early on.
Do you want to see Twin Protector here?
Maybe not so much versus the Rubik now, because you don't want to give away your spells, but just some kind of melee body for Luna would be necessary.
I wouldn't mind it.
Still, if Whiteman's good, like, look, if he's good, he is good.
He's
a great player. Honestly, to be clear, one of my favorite position 5s. But anyway, moving on. Like, if you don't give away Overgrowth, the value of it in this game is very strong. But yes, you always have to respect Rubik.
They'll prioritize the Kunkka first. So far, every time they played Luna, they've had the Tusk there, but obviously Tusk has been banned out.
It's too strong. It's one of the strongest combos, besides Twin Protector as well. This is the other one that Whitemon likes to play. This is another body. And again, how you're going to increase the damage. You have a lot of damage mitigation coming up from Kunkka, and then you have Alacrity on Luna with her aura, plus the ET with the Spirit, so magic damage, physical damage later on when he maybe gets the Aghanim Scepter, when he's able to get close to the targets. It's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, Luna's the best carry to pair with ET because she has hybrid damage. Like, she just fully benefits from that hero's aura.
If you mis-execute against Tundra, the amount of kiting here is insane. You got like Stomp on the ET to disengage the fight, entire toolkit of Kunkka available, everything we mentioned about Invoker Tornadoes. Like, to get to the Luna, you need to get through like a sea of defensive spells.
It is quite unusual to see Tundra save their support pick for last. But it is what it is. Is there any flex potential on the side of Tundra?
No, I feel like it's Invoker's your mid, Luna's your carry, Kunkka's your off lane, and enable your supports to have a little bit more information to bring the draft to life. Of course, we already mentioned like the strength of ET with the kind of type of damage that's available. It's all round once your cores have a couple items, Tundra is insanely strong.
Yeah, but that also means that Falcons has a lot of information to go off of with their upcoming pick. So they can counter the lanes already a little bit better. They go for the Razor.
I like this approach because for Tundra, there is a weakness in after their lane phase, they don't really bring explosive damage. Right, Luna still wants to farm, ET kind of make stats and protect areas. You can amp up other heroes. Same thing for Kunkka, he wants to amp up other heroes early on.
Hard lane now for this Kunkka in the offlane. I think you need Snapfire to be paired up with you so you can get out of that static link, and it's also going to be extra damage. We've seen the combination with the kisses. I think Falcons will have a read on that and just ban it out because it's too good. You need something to make this Kunkka as a hero. You know, he can use hit, he can come back into the game with doing some jungle camps, but the lane is going to be difficult.
Yeah, Kunkka looks best with Snapfire, like you mentioned with us, or Bot Rider or Sniper. Any high damage dealing 4 to capitalize on the X Torrent is going to be what they're looking at. Sniper gets taken out. He just does damage way too quickly. He does damage faster than Razor can steal damage, and maybe you can like burst him in that duration. Snap's still not banned out, so they could be potentially eyeballing that still.
I completely forgot Omni Knight was still in the pool. So he got removed, and this is all supports that are going to be banned, so Sapphire. One of the heroes that's going to get removed. We've seen Saxa on only heroes that at the moment have been banned already, so we're going to see one hero that he's played in this event so far. Dream Protector have also removed team.
Yeah, they're thinking that the Rubik's going to be the position for him, therefore they're banning out 5s, which then means what's the snaking hero?
I think Clockwork. They need some kind of a setup. It's banned, never mind. They could unban the Clockwork, which is really good for them.
His Bat Rider is still in the pool. We also have seen him play Chen and Sven, but other than that, everything else is
Snap the hero, anything that can do damage. Slow down the Razor. What is left on 5 though? Tusk is out, Omni is out, Treant is out, Clock is out, Mercy is out.
Yeah, for, in regard to so far, it's like Sven that mentioned. About it. Yeah. Ogre, this is the Ogre game. Bloodluster Razor, get him in, keep the fight going.
That would make our stop before the match.
Would be quite nice, but
It could be time, there's not much left.
I want a melee 5 body that wants to rally his team to go forward. And that's why Ogre is the hero.
Completely missed one of the few times we actually died in the last pick. And we got ourselves an Oracle.
When we were kind of at the start of this meta, I thought Oracle was going to be much more popular besides Team Liquid always kind of playing the hero because it's all about these barriers, it's all about popping up the heroes. This is the hero that has a built-in the spell mechanic. So let's say you have Alacrity, you have all this stuff, ET Spirit as well, so he's not going to have that good of a time. It does feel like the spell mechanic is highly valuable, one of the reasons why Shadow Demon is pretty much banned in every single game.
It punishes Tundra's lack of fighting the back lane. I think their entire draft is built around kind of pushing a hero forward, protecting once they jump you. If you don't jump them, then of course Oracle's going to thrive. So, but, you know, I like the pick just because you're seeing what your opponent has. And the Falcons from lane, like Marine, connect with the Razor, take a fight. Get a BKB on Razor, take a fight. It's a lot of go, a lot of fight. Yeah, Tundra's going to have to see through that aggression to get online in this game.
I think this Oracle pick brings a lot to the table. Like, if you look at Invoker, it's not a hero that plays for wound security as much as Pango does. It can send out 4 tiers. Now, I don't bring any supports, maybe, but if Pango already knows where the rune is going to be and can just bring +1 support to secure it, then they will have the tempo and momentum because this Pango is going to play heavily on the side lanes because he has 2 strong kill potential with Razor on one lane and Lubic Doom on another. Whichever lane he chooses to rotate to with a power rune should turn into a kill. Whereas Tundra are going to be playing a lot slower because they don't have that kind of rune control on their own team, and they don't have that kind of explosive damage until Luna gets like 1 item that comes out of the jungle minute 20. So Falcons have drafted really scary tempo, and on top of that, Oracle just spells, a lot of spells that Tundra are doing. Even this Willow that came out last is counterpicked by Oracle.
All right, what are we thinking? Lacoste, Falcons and Elite gonna take it?
Oh, I think we're gonna go to game 3. Oh. I feel like Tundra is a bit too slow. Team Falcons, they do have a draft that's gonna come online super early on, and everybody on side of Tundra, like Kanka, his presence, he needs an item. You know, he's Blade Mail into something else, into Aura. Aluna, she needs 2-3 items to be comfortable coming into a fight. Same goes for this Invoker, so I feel like it's gonna be much on the slower side, and I think Falcons take it.
Find out if Tundra can surprise my panel or if Falcons will be forced out that third game of this best-of-3 series for top 6 here at the Road to the International. We're heading over to the game, but first some words from Coach Moonyan.
Indeed, Shiva, I am here with Moon. Moon, you must have been delighted with game 1. Are you happy with the draft for game 2?
Yes, absolutely. Super.
Okay, that's all it is. I asked Howie the same question going to ask you. You guys were teammates back in 2018, KLC Esports. He described you as an emotional man. How would you describe him?
Boring, mundane.
Boring and mundane. Interesting. Okay. You said in an interview about a month before TI, you said that what motivates your team is ego. Do you stand by that?
100%. Play better
Okay, well, you've taken game 1. Let's see if you can take game 2. Let's throw it over to our casters, OD and Fox, to take away chaps.
Thank you very much, Ted. Yes, here we go, getting into the action of game 2, Tundra versus Falcons. That's some fantastic comments there from Moon. Good to have some banter. I mean, these are teams, right? There's banter between the players, and now we're getting banter between the coaches.
He's mundane and boring. We didn't even flame him. Now he's saying, like, yeah, he can be a little bit emotional. So I love it. Oh, man, okay. So this one, man, we're up to a pretty interesting way that the draft's kind of kicked off, because I think this is one of the first games where one of the first drafts where I've seen 3 cores picked up initially.
Okay.
Right? Tundra, they picked all 3 of their cores.
And, as you were saying, well, giving away first pick and Radiant.
Yeah, they gave away first pick Radiant, which I don't have the exact stats on it also, but I believe yesterday when I checked, it was like a 70% win rate or something like that too. So definitely something different that we're seeing coming out from them, but a very, very strong heroes. Some lack of initiation perhaps coming into their draft at some points in this game, which I've seen sometimes with these Kunkas as game progressed. But yeah, this looks like it could be pretty interesting.
Okay. Yeah, some of these heroes in particular, we'll see how they play out. We're getting like the Elder Titan going out on the side of Tundra, and yeah, snaking Oracle.
Yeah. No, it should be fine.
Not going to get anything out of this one. But yeah, I mean, do you sort of agree with the panel? I think they were saying, right, Oracle, maybe a hero we would have expected to see a bit more in this patch and in this tournament.
There's a lot of potential for this hero. I think the coolest thing, I like what Miro pointed out, especially too, is being able to just get the information where the runes are every single time to get these bottle fill-ups, but also there's going to be a lot of spells that he can lock out, these dispels as well too, but in particular, just the Fate's Edict. It's really strong versus a lot of these magic damage heroes, in particular Kunka. Kunka throws his combo, you throw Fate's Edict, it blocks the bow, it blocks the torrent, it blocks a significant amount, so we'll see how much that pertains, because that was kind of like an old school counter in a way that people used to do, so see if the time still exists that way. Because Falcons was able to counterpick pretty heavily inside this game. We'll see what ends up going down because of it.
Let's see if Thompson can have another crazy performance on the Invoker. Did very well in that last game.
He was, honestly, quite a nuisance. He's not going to have that amp up, of course, of like Solar Flare and stuff like that, where he could be that extra right-clicking beast, but we shall see what he can do.
And how should this lane be for him? Pango versus the Invoker.
Recently, I feel like I've been seeing a little bit of differences. I feel like it can be a little bit more even nowadays, but it depends, because it's just the sustain war that comes out from the boss, and then the runes are going to be in particular, so it's tough to say really for this one.
And how strong is this top lane? So ET backing up the Luna here in the safe lane as a support duo. These two getting chances to get aggressive on the Doom.
You can at times, but I feel like we've seen a lot of these teams just be really good at being able to at least protect the Doom. Even if Doom's not winning so much, the lane actually does look pretty good in most situations, so should be able to.
See there, win after win from Thompson on the Invoker so far.
Moon said it right. We got the Invoker, so they're very, very happy.
Indeed, if that, you've got to imagine at a point if that win rate continues to go that way, and if Thompson's able to make the win happen here, teams might have to start considering an early ban on it against him.
Let's be honest, Thompson won TI because of Invoker, like his first one especially, so it is definitely going to be something that teams have to always think about. We'll see how that top lane. I'm curious about how that is, because this one does feel like it's a lot of like trade back and forth. But then once the ET and the Luna get level 3, I think that's when they're able to kind of dominate this lane.
But
then you get
so much damage. Or?
It's 2 points in beam, 2 points in the spirit, and you're able to just kind of run these heroes down. So I think that's when it's going to become the most difficult for Falcons up here. But first 2 levels or so, they should be able to do okay.
I'm just like, how difficult is it going to be for Amar to be left on his own against these two?
Very difficult. I think Crit
gotta stay here.
You have to stay. Yeah, because you can at least do the, you lift them, throw them back, and kind of reset to be able to get positioning. So, mid's kind of the one that I'm just most, just like last game, where I think most people are just staring at this mid matchup because these two just love to push the limits of their heroes. Who ends up getting that bonus? Get that one. What is that one?
Beautiful art.
Oh, so I guess this is reminiscent of Thompson's first TI win also, where he's just dropping stickers on people's faces on the on the lane. Not very funny, but mid lane so far pretty much dead even.
It's really close.
Yep. So let's go matchup. Thompson, of course, these denies. We'll have to talk about the
top lane.
Minus top. They actually get.
Wow, so close to bringing Pure down, but Whitemon coming in with a lovely stomp to hold back Amar and Crit.
Not a bit surprising there. They hit the level 3 first on the Doom, so they had that big explosive damage initially, it looked like. Actually, they put a point they needed, so it wasn't just an opportune hit that they found up here.
They could dive in for Whitemon.
He's still not free.
I think he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah, Whitemon underestimating the potential there from Amar and Crit to just dive in and go for the kill. They get first blood for Amar.
Very nicely played, exactly when they need to. These first 2 levels are crucial for them to apply that pressure, and they do so. Very nicely done from the 2 of them here. Of course, getting that kill, so he's going to have boots and a chainmail coming out here too, which could even change the outcome of that lane even more. So very nice from Falcons there.
I mean, we saw in the last game as well, despite the loss, Amar and his Doom had a pretty fantastic time in the early parts and got this incredible amount of farm.
Yep.
Do you imagine he's going to go for a similar build this game, go for that base jump Shivas once more?
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure. Yeah. Because it was a very different approach last time. I think so, just because we've seen Tundra play very fast. He'll probably look for something fast-paced. Maybe not the drum, but we'll see. How's his bottom lane overall doing?
Sanction and Snaking trying to go for one another, but neither quite able to finish off the job.
So one other thing that was actually pretty crucial for me in that last game is how well Ramses did in that lane, because he was in Night Stalker with nighttime and stuff, but it was a Monkey King lane, which can sometimes dominate some of these melee heroes. This time also, he's not doing that bad. It's a Kunkka versus a Razor lane, and he's 24-2, so all things considered, Slink's doing pretty decent on the side of Tundra, and I think that's why they picked this Willow, because it's got these, blocks to not let the static link build up, so kind of cool. I expected that lane to go much worse for Ramses.
Mid continues to be one of the the kind of the most even outcomes that we've seen 5 minutes into a match here. Incredibly close between Mallory and Thompson.
But Thompson does get, it's not like it matters as much because it's an Invoker. He gets the 6 first, it's just a different kind of style because of those denies, because of the Mastermind.
Bringing Crit over. Coming up to the 6-minute power runes, of course. Whitemon for Tundra also going to turn up and try and have the chance of fighting back and protecting this, making sure that Mallory is not able to get the pick.
They know where the rune is going to be, though, since they have that Oracle. So they know it's bottom. Snaking won't be able to get it, though. I didn't see what happened top. I don't know what it is.
Nah, he could have just got a deny or something.
I think it was deny or Lotus or something.
Probably.
I actually didn't get to say which one it was. I was checking the rune. Yeah, 30 CS on the Kunkka. I'm pretty impressed with how
against a Razor lane, right? Yep. You got to be feeling pretty happy if you're Ramses.
Yep. I've seen sometimes yes, Razor's got in a lot of nerfs and stuff like that, but sometimes I've still seen some of these lanes be absolutely devastating. He's got almost phase boots with the windlace, so he can just kind of be even outrun it sometimes if he's not with Soxa. So doing very well.
And in terms of overall tempo of the game, nowadays, how does sort of the Razor match up against the Luna? Luna being as strong as it is.
That's a good question. Luna now fights very early, so I think Skeeter definitely could fall into some issues where if he charges in with some Link, you get turned on from an Eclipse, so yeah, could be.
Now you can
some
get,
fast tempo.
I feel like the Razor can get burst. It's going to be a lot of it down to Snaking coming in with clutch saves.
Absolutely. Snake is definitely going to be one of the most important ones that we look at in the majority of this game. The move's coming from Malrine first, a quick TP bottom.
So if they can catch Ramses, they can't.
They can.
Not quite in range of the plasma field there. Able to avoid the slow. Ends up in This move from Maorine's not going to result in much at all.
He's got phase boots and windlays. Yeah, that's massive. Gonna be getting level 6 also soon on Ramses. That's a very, very good start with the lane that he's been put up against. And they read the first movement, so Maorine's first move doesn't hit.
Bit of a slower start this time around, 7.5 minutes. Just the one kill that Falcons have found. Maybe Tundra can find something here. They'll try for snaking, but he's going to sneak around the brambles. Skeeter in return. Sterling onto Ramses, but Thompson's coming in with the rotation, and Skeeter's pretty low underneath the tower. And with the cold snap, they're ready to dive this. I don't think there's going to be anything that Snaking can do at this point to save his carry. Skeeter will fall.
And there's 5 heroes down here for Tundra.
They're going to get Snaking as well. Snaking completely surrounded. They come in with this rotation, Tundra. Double kill for Thompson. An incredibly successful movement towards the bottom lane.
When Thompson tips Maureen, you know, Maureen makes the move bottom, it's not successful. Thompson makes the move bottom, it's double successful.
Absolutely. Now they can get the pressure onto this tower. Very, very good first move here from Thompson.
They have again, a very, very fast-paced lineup that Tundra's gone for. This time maybe a little bit more cooldown reliant in some situations, but overall, very strong, and they're still sticking down bottom. Snaking and Skeeter are coming back, but Thompson's still here.
Thompson's looking for the angle. He's able to get the MP down in between the two of them. As most of the mana of Skeeter gone. Further TPs, they need to come in from Falcons. They cannot allow Tundra to get away with this again. The Marine turns up. Thompson, he's already out. He's able to TP away. Again, Tundra definitely having a bit better of control of the early game, forcing Falcons' reactions.
He tips him again because he makes the move and he doesn't get the... Oh, that's... Thompson's trying to get in his head for sure.
Certainly is.
And, oh god, sorry, because I was waiting for people to start doing that one too. Marine, position top. It's seen. They've got this ward.
They're so prepared for these Pango rotations.
They know this ward's here though, but that sentry's actually just out of range, as you see there from Snaking. It's just on the cusp. Tundra's prepared for every single move, it seems like, so far in these first 10 minutes.
And it's costing Maori. You can see him starting to fall behind on the cores.
Absolutely.
Not getting the chance to get that early kill, that early bit of action that he wants to as the mid Pango.
Thompson just constantly ghost walking around. He might get caught mid. They see him for a second. He gets out of sentry range.
The stomp to hold back Amar, and Falcon's not going to be finding anything here either.
He knew that they had like a sentry for a second there. He literally stepped right outside the range of it for a quick second there. Could have maybe got lifted and doomed and stuff, but so far, Thompson is dancing around them again, just like that last game. Pure.
The stomp is going to connect onto the two of them. They might be able to do something with this. Thompson's coming in from the side. Amar, he's in trouble. He's going to get taken down.
He sure is. And Pierre's actually done the farming build, by the way. He actually only put 2 points in beam. He put 4 in the glaives, which we haven't seen too much, but still, he's getting involved.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Top lane,
Look at a kill.
Finally able to find something with these movements, but it is just the support, just Saxtra on the Willow.
They're losing potentially their mid. They have to make the rotation over, it feels like. You don't want to sack your mid tower this early.
Yeah, but with this shield room, Pure not too scared at all about standing his ground and pushing on to try and find this early tier 1. They get the stomp connection onto Snaking. They'll just focus the objective though. Snaking tries to step up, has to be careful. Pure's able to get the last touch on the tower. Tundra continue to get that much more here in this early game.
Yeah, Malrine gets the top tower, but it's very different getting a mid tower at 10 minutes in compared to the safe lane tower at this point in the game. It's going to open up the map for Tundra to play even more aggressive. A nice scan comes out. Skeeter maybe reading the movement should protect him here. But he doesn't TP too far away. And I think they see that. I think they just saw the plasma field as well with that ops ward. So Skeeter does have to be a little bit careful if he still expects them down here.
Yeah, Skeeter just having to rush that BKB straight away after the arcanes.
I agree, honestly. It feels kind of sad to have to do so, but there's so much explosive burst that comes out from Tundra, even with an Oracle on his team. That, I don't know, that feels kind of grim to have to do so.
It's going to take some pretty crazy moves from Falcons, right, to be able to enable the Razor and keep Skeeter in the game. Because if it starts to get passive, right, this Luna is just going to completely out-farm the Razor.
He's right on top of Skeeter.
The setup, the splitter coming in as well. Skeeter is able to get out to the side, but the stomp comes in. The mass TPs will be there, so they won't have the burst to take down Skeeter. Falcons, they're going to look to try and find kills in return. Thompson going for the TP out. Is there anything to stop it? There isn't. Thompson's away.
My goodness. He hasn't even TP to base. He TPs to the tier 2, so he can actually ghost walk and continue to look to be aggressive on the map. Thompson, he's just being such a nuisance. He's even going to take away the rune.
And TPs are coming in. They want to try and take Snaking down. Sunstrike's coming in. Snaking in a lot of trouble as Ramses has got the control with the X mark into the torrent. They'll slowly but surely take Snaking down and get another kill for Thompson, dominating at 12 minutes in.
He's all 4 of their kills. He's everywhere on the map. He really is just starting to feel it himself massively. That is some crazy stuff coming out from him. And Ramses, you know, we talked about how good his game is in a Razor lane. He is almost the top net worth as this Kunkka, and he almost has an Orchid finished up. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think considering sort of the way he was targeted in the draft in game 1 and then the lane, the situation he was given in game 2, you know, kind of against the odds, Ramses he's given a solid performance today.
Yeah, and so far we're not really, yeah, they got the kill top with Crit and with Amar, but so far Crit's not able to get like a nice spell he can steal to make some moves around. So far it's Tundra dictating the pace. Falcons is getting some farm and stuff like that, but this Luna is going to start, it feels like it's going to start catapulting forward ahead of that Razor pretty quickly.
How on earth do you keep up as a Razor?
You have to spam your ult. You have to ult every single time it's up to farm these creep camps. But still difficult to keep up with the Luna.
See what the move is to be now from Falcons. They're still going to want to try and find action around Mallory's Rolling Thunder. It's not been easy so far though. Tundra, does he have very prepared for the approach that Falcons coming at them with?
I think Falcons needs to blink on Malrine to make plays. The initiation on both sides is a little bit lackluster, but Falcons more so than Tundra does lack that initiation currently.
Top lane. Whitemon just keeping Snaking pressured away from Amar, so wasn't able to quite get the opening onto Amar. But yeah, that's the blink dagger there. You got to imagine the smokes are going to be coming out. Falcons are going to look to try and make a play happen.
They're immediately TPing top. They want to look to fight around here.
There's the smoke up for the two of them. Crit and Mallory ready to get something going with the reveal of the Pango blink.
I can't believe Ramses has an Orchid already. It is so fast for the lane that he was in. It's probably one of the fastest. It's maybe a little weird seeing it from the off lane, not these auras, but they didn't use auras last game to win either. It's a very interesting kind of route that he's gone for here. Can be very disruptive versus the Pango or the Doom on their initial go.
Started ahead up there, but I believe the smoke dispelled on Marion with Thompson being in the neighborhood. Thompson's going to know that blink's online, so Falcons aren't going to get that surprise play that they hope for. It's Falcons, definitely the pressure on them to make something happen. These passive moments, that's only going to be great news for Pure on his Luna.
100%. Yeah, Skeeter, the BKB is going to be coming in like, what, 1,000 gold, but you can already see that disparity between him and the Luna starting to grow.
It's got to be get the BKB and look for a fight. And if they don't find that fight, I don't know what the backup plan is for Falcons. It's going to get difficult.
I'm kind of there with you, to be honest, because just because of how big they are on the 3 cores on the side of Tundra so far, they're just playing this beautifully. And Pure, I would say he's a bit more enabled, right? Compared to the Razor, yes, you've got the backup of Oracle, but Pure's going to have Alacrity. He's going to have Rum buffs. He's going to have the ET Aura that's also amplifying him inside of these team fights, so... see what Falcons looks to do and if they can get some of these catches.
Seem to have the blink on Amar.
Okay, so maybe with the double blinks plus BKB,
that's the time.
That's going to be the timing to find something, because yeah, this feels like Tundra, they're very happy with the game state. Little cube steal. Only that level 1 Exort, of course, at this point in the game, so not really very threatening.
The amount of farm that Tundra's getting. Not being able to be kept up with by Falcons. Skeeter with this stack will have the BKB gold.
So they'll have the timing. So yeah, Blink Amar, it's done. BKB Razor about to be done, and Blink Pango. Let's see where they look to go with this one. Because the lanes are kind of not in a great position to kind of just immediately like smoke and go for something. Top lane's in an okay spot, but bottom is super shoved in. Mid also shoved in from the Manta illusions too, so. Seeing both sport positions on both sides though, they're buying both going Solar Crest just to be able to amp up their core. But that means even more. I mean, Pierre's just gonna have so many different buff ups for him.
See if they got the smoke ready here, Falcons.
They managed. So clear the mid wave, grab the BKB, and yeah, gotta connect onto something here. It's gotta slow down that farm speed of Tundra.
I feel like Tundra's gonna be aware that this is coming for them.
And look at the bottom lane. It's in I mean, it's super pushed in, so they might have the information here.
They need a core kill. finding a support is not going to feel good here for Falcons. They've got to find something big.
I mean, Pierce hits the Ancient once and then backs away. It's like he knew this was coming completely. Look at the lines drawn.
They really are a
really
step
on
ahead
top
in
of
this game. It really does feel like they've read the entire sort of plan book from Falcons. They know exactly what Falcons are going to try and do this game.
Hey, look at Saksa is still bottom hitting these creeps. He's clearing these creep waves at a tier 2, so that's giving massive amounts of information. They're like, Falcons is looking to make a move, and it ain't on me bottom. Thompson. CMR.
Oh, Amar. He might find a chance for a quick kill on Whitemon. Yeah, he'll happily drop down the Doom for this. The question is if Thompson wants to try and do something in return. He's actually trying to use space to allow him to TP out. I think Thompson's just done it. Able to make sure that not even Whitemon goes down here.
And that's a big cooldown use. Now Tundra can actually look to fight back themselves, or potentially maybe look for some type of like Roshan forcing or something like that, it feels like. They do a very strong team fight Wombo combo, and now without a Doom and a Solar Crest on the Dark Willow, they can look to get aggressive themselves. A 4K lead, the lead just growing, the XP just is growing, all in favor of Tundra.
Yeah, these timings from Falcons, they've just not been able to get much done with it. The blink on the Pango, the BKBs, they haven't found any sort of move off the back of them successfully.
And Thompson, he's being really annoying. He just walks up, he sees one of these, either the Pango or the Doom, and he just throws EMPs onto them.
And they're looking at Ramses, but he's a beefy target. Very close to having the Aghanims as well on Kunkka.
Scary to go for the Kunkka too when you don't see the ET and the Invoker. They have so many different ways of counter-initiating. Tier 2 bottom is dropping.
And that gap between the carries only continuing to grow. Everything looking up for Tundra so far.
And in 1 minute, Roche is going to shift its way down toward bottom. And the question, I think, for me is really going to be, is Falcon's going to be able to contest that Roche that I believe Tundra can just force the issue of. And their team fight is terrifying around that Roche pit. Aghanim's nearly finished for Ramses. 2 to 4. This is... We're back to one of those, like, last game we had, what, 30 kills?
Yeah, we had a crazy
by now,
last game. Yeah.
This one, things have slowed down, and
Absolutely.
it just feels like it's favoring Tundra because of that. Look at this Luna, 3,000 ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take from Falcons to shake up the progress of this game.
It's not even just 3,000 ahead, he's 3.5 levels ahead of Skitter, too. Pretty absurd.
I guess their best plan